cautious and less trusting, and he was always aware of the power that his master had over him. Nonetheless, his determination to be free again was unquenchable, which had led to a successful escape from slavery after several failed attempts in the year 1776. 4. Frederick Douglass. Another example of the victim of the metal mask is Frederick Douglass. Douglass was born into the brutal clutches of slavery in Talbot County, Maryland in 1880. As a young boy, Douglass witnessed the heart-wrenching realities of slave life and the relentless inhumanity which came with ruthless beatings and scourgings, and sometimes mutilations that were commonplace on plantations. He was
Good day and gratitude, family.
To the cruelty of various masters. In 1833,
We know.
he was 15 years old.
I need to turn it off. Good day and gratitude, family. This is Face the Nation with BoldenUnchained again. And we are back with another reading. We are back with another lesson tonight. BoldenUnchained is here to assist Black America and Black media with the uncovering of the many agendas, events, projects, operations, acts, codes, laws, compromises, many sabotages against Black America. It's always been sabotages against Black America. We don't like to think that it's not a race thing. We don't think that it's a race thing. However, it is a race thing. It's always been a race thing, and it'll always be a race thing, Black America. BoldenUnchained is here to assist Black media in covering all of these agendas against Black America, because Black America is in another awakening. Black America is in the second awakening, I believe, as far as I know. The first awakening, to my knowledge, is the massacres of 1919. There were many massacres against our ancestors. 1943, 1963, 1917, 1912. The floods of Mississippi, I believe it was. The floods of Mississippi. White Americans actually, when the levees broke, white Americans made their Black neighbors and townsmen, they let the white people leave when the levees broke. But they made the Black people by gun force with a gun on them. The troops had guns on them and made them go lay down. You be the sandbags. You lay down right here, let the water rush over you so it can save the crops. Live grown men. You get over there and you lay down. You be the sandbag. They literally did that to our ancestors. When Black men died in the Mississippi floods, because they wouldn't let them leave. And there were like thousands, like 13,000 Black people living on the levees. Just living on the levee. They couldn't go anywhere. They had guns trained on them. So when the levees broke, they had run out of sandbags, to hold the water back and stuff. They used the Black men for sandbags. The Black men that died and lost their life, white America cut them open, cut their bodies open, filled it with sand, and used their bodies for sandbags. But the live men that was alive, they, by gun force, they made them go, lay down on top of each other to stop the water. Horrible things that our ancestors have been through. Horrible things. We don't want to bring it up, but we must. We are. We're going to talk about it. We need to get to the root of this self-hate that permeates Black America. We're all we got in this country, abroad, the world, wherever you go. We are all we got. But the self-hate, we got to examine the self-hate, Black America. That is the only way we're going to be able to look at each other and forgive each other. Why can't we forgive each other? We forgive everybody for everything. And we the only ones that fight the hardest for us. We fight very hard for us. We did have others who fought on our behalf. We did. We give credit what credit is due. We give credit what credit is due. But let's not get it twisted. The black man was the first and final one to fight for his freedom. The black man was the first and the final one to fight for his freedom. White America had the chance to be sincere with us. They've had many chances. They got a chance now to be sincere with Black America. But see, they've hidden so much now. Not only did your ancestors do these things and just ignored it, just threw it to the side like it wasn't nothing. Not only did you do that, but even today, you still want to progress, and we still hurt. We still broken. We still got self-hate within us, and we ain't even did nothing to us. We are the only ones, and our brethren, as some of y'all call him, he was a special man. He was an exceptional man. He must have had been here before as a black man. I don't know. But this is about Black America here. We do give credit where it's due now. Don't get it twisted. We do give credit where it's due. It was some other white abolitionists. They were in the book. We read a few of them. Elijah Lovejoy, I think that was his name. It was other white abolitionists that fought against slavery. I think the Quakers, you know. But yeah, the black man, and the black woman was the first, and they'll be the final one fighting for black people. But us as, you know, as one, as a people, we got. And we got to find out about the self-hate. See, we can't solve racism. We cannot solve racism. We can't stop it. All we can do is get the hell away from it. That's all Black America can do. The time we've wasted trying to change it, trying to soothe it, trying to comfort it, trying to make it feel like it's not threatened, and trying to let it be superior. Whatever you need to do to just stop desecrating our bodies. Just stop ravaging our bodies. And it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. The only thing we can do at this point is get away. Get off to ourselves. Focus on us and ourselves. Who cares what white America? The celebrities done sold out anyway. Honey, as soon as Kool and the Gang slammed the piano shut, when they left, it was time for us to leave. For real. Soon as Kool and the Gang shut the piano, it was time for us to leave too. When they left, we should have left. Because now we got to deal with this. Now we're dealing with this demonic vibration that's out here. This sound. Because our own people, let's get the copyright out the way, because you know how it be. Copyright disclaimer under 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. The fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So what we are doing, Black America, is we are teaching us what we never knew. We are teaching us what our schools, our pastors, our reverends, our elders, because mine didn't teach me. Out of all of them, ain't nobody taught me nothing about nobody. You leave it alone. It was over and done with. We done moved past it. All kind of excuses, I imagine. We get told. Not only by other folks, but by our own folks, because, we don't want it. We want the peace. Let's just keep the peace. But don't nobody ever tell the other people to be quiet about their Holocaust. I was listening to Dr. Joy DeGraw. She said every few years they come out with a movie about their Holocaust, honey. Every few years. They make sure don't nobody forget about their Holocaust. They make sure their people remember about their Holocaust. And I bet you one thing, because see, I don't know a lot of history. I'm just now making it here to the fight. I didn't even know it was a fight. I didn't even know we was at a war. The war on black boys. I had no idea. The bulk of Black America has no idea that we at a war. And we at the end. We are at the ass end of a spiritual war that's attacking us physically, mentally, emotionally. Black America, we have been through so much, and we can't talk about it. Everybody else can talk about their Holocaust. Everybody else can go out and get their healing. Everybody else can go out and get their therapy. But Black America, we can't get nothing but chastisement. Pull your bootstraps up, be quiet, work harder. Bleach your skin. Here, eat this, eat that. Chew on that piece of pork right there. Here, wear that wig, straighten your hair, put that on you. We can do everything but this. Can't talk about this. And one thing I really believe is that's why we so restless. Our children, they so restless. Y'all know. Our children is so restless. They can't even hardly sit down sometimes. Sometimes they can't hardly function. They can't hardly think. It's just like, a fish out of water sometimes. Because they ain't learning. They not learning about the excellence. They not ready for this. But we better get them ready. Because they growing up. They going to be out here in this society with these people. Because, see, white people still teaching their kids and stuff. Just like Kentucky said. Y'all got to stop slaughtering them in the opening. You got to stop just dragging them down the street behind your trucks. You got to stop all of that. We're going to do it privately. And that's what they're doing. They still doing it privately. So what? Sabrina don't know. They ain't told Sabrina shit. Karen and Ken is the one that they teaching and telling. See, the kids is letting it be known. The actions that's happening around the world now. Black media, Taylor House Publishing, runaway slave, all the lynchings, black men, truckers being found in these little sundown towns and stuff, trucking companies sending them way off into Valdosta, Georgia, and Macon, Georgia, and 18-point city and crazy sundown shit like that. Black men just coming up missing, coming up lynched, dead, leaning against a tree, just propped up like they standing. In Black America, it ain't no coincidence. It ain't no coincidence. More than ever, Black America got to use discernment. We got to use discernment where we going. Sundown towns is right here. Ain't nobody went nowhere. I didn't even know the Ku Klux Klan had all of them subgroups. I knew it was the Ku Klux Klan and the Night Riders. I had read about the Night Riders. But then it's the what it called? The ball knobbers. The ghost and pilots. all these other subgroups that they got, and they still active. That's the thing about it. These clans are still active. We had a green book for traveling, Black people did. But the illusion of inclusion made us really think that they were sincere with us and we can let down our guards. We can be sincere too. So we did. And it's led us here to this point, allegedly 2025. But I just learned tonight that it don't even matter what calendar we using, because it's so many dimensions and so many levels to life, y'all. One part of us, when we woke, is in one dimension, but when we sleep, we could be in another dimension on that calendar. The main thing to remember is we got to stay focused wherever we at. Keep our eyes on the prize. Everybody else is. Everybody trying to get this greatness. They want it so bad they just shred you to pieces. Your body don't mean nothing. Your black body just shred you like a piece of paper going in the shredder, trying to find that key code. Where's that gene that give you all of this power, Black America? That's how our ancestors survived this. And still ain't had no therapy. Ain't had no healing. Ain't had no type of repair, to the trauma that we've suffered, because our ancestors went through this. And it's in us. It's like an innate fear. We don't know why we're afraid, why we so careful. But we do know. We don't want to know the extent of it, because we know we got to face it. We know we got to face these people, what you've done. We don't want to go into another world order with y'all like this, with us like this. But everybody is willing to let that happen. Everybody's willing to let that happen. Just like everybody was okay with slavery happening. Long as it ain't us, it's got to be somebody. Might as well be the Black people. Hey, well, the law the one said. The law said that they wasn't human. So we shouldn't feel bad, right? That's how it is. That's how it is against Black America. And that's why we got to go. In my opinion. I wasn't trying to play nothing, because I don't even know what this is. So we're gonna skip it. And they're gonna Frederick Douglass. We're gonna watch that though. I wanted to put it back on, so it's right on time. But I can't believe some people haven't heard about the fog. But then again, if we ain't looking at Black media, we ain't gonna know anyway. The media, mainstream media, gonna play it off as something else. But I wonder, the people that was on the freeway, are they hoarse and stuff too? Is they feeling it? Because when I got to work, all my co-workers was there and stuff, but people that was in traffic. But anyway, we just got to use discernment. Because, I left my whole car on the freeway, locked the doors, honey, and walked back the other way. So we just got to, use discernment and know, that something is going on. And us as a people, hell, we ought to know it's about us. When have it never not been about Black people? When have it never not been about Black people? Everything. See? You can't even think of a time, can you? Me either. Well, Black Wall Street, but we know what happened there with our Black Wall Streets. Yeah, we know what happened there. And our people built Black Wall Street up. To me, our people so phenomenal. Just awesome, so wonderful. They built Black Wall Streets up overnight. Just like that. Physically freed in 1865. And by 1919, 1917, 1912, and stuff like that, 1921, they had whole empires built, whole legacies built, complete with everything you need, Black America. Everything you need, from transportation to medical clinics, grocery stores, libraries, schools, daycares, barbershops, little mom and pop shops, ice cream shops, whatever you needed, our community had it right there. You didn't even have to go nowhere. Almost overnight. It didn't take no, 50, 60 years. And they had been enslaved. They practically walked off the plantation with nothing. I was also watching a video of Dr. Claude Anderson. We might watch that one too, because, I really need to chill out till I kind of get some soothing relief from this. But I got to do what I got to do. Ain't nobody here but me. Hell, it ain't like I'm coughing on nobody now, because ain't nobody here but me. But we just can't stop. We still got to do it. Do it responsibly. I'm at home. I ain't going nowhere. I'm just at home, but I still got to do what I got to do. Because y'all need to know, and then y'all got to go do what you got to do. We all out of time. Everybody done misled Black America. Everybody done stagnated us so much. Everybody has stagnated us so much. I hope we got time to turn this around for us, because quite frankly, mankind and humanity is at stake. And everybody gonna choose mankind if it come down to it. Ain't nobody gonna choose humanity. Ain't nobody gonna choose life, nurturing, harmonizing, exceptional, honest, helpful, forgiving. Everybody ain't gonna choose that. And that's who we are as a people. A peaceful, forgiving, nurturing, generous people. That's who we are. We've been made to be weaklings because of this. We've been made to succumb to the projections that white people put on us. And we didn't even know. How many of us went decades without knowing? I'll be the first one. Because I was 10 years ago, I guess I was 42. So we'll say 39. Yep, 39. And the thing about it is, when I was a kid, I had some incidents that happened in my life. But the very fear overrode, and it overrides in us because we so traumatized. It overrides us thinking logically. Like, how dare you think that you gonna cut my foot off? Like Leopold cut all of our people hands off in the Congo when they didn't pick enough sugar cane or something, and he cut their whole hand off. He cut their whole hand off. Sometimes he cut one of them off. Sometimes he cut both of them off. Leopold, I don't know if it's one or two, but I remember reading about it and stuff. Just hate Black people all over the world. But you did see when that mountain in the Congo collapsed, and Black people was in the mine. Black people was in the mountain. They were mining, and the whole mountain collapsed. It was full of copper, y'all. The whole mountain was full of copper. And Black people were standing out. Black people were standing on the outside, And they were wearing and, wondering where some of them was up there digging in mountain in the sand and stuff, trying to, make a way so that they could get out. And then all of a sudden, black men start diving out of the mountain because they were using shovels. Some of them using their hands, and they were digging because they were like, our brothers is in there mining. But the mountain, it collapsed, and it was full of copper. Yep. And the Congolans, they deserve it. They deserve everything that's been stolen from them, that's been taken from them. Some of it so we can be happy over here with our cell phones. Yeah. Because we don't know. We think that's it. Yeah. That's why Black America, it's time to get rid of all this unnecessary stuff. If you need one phone, why you got 3? Why we got 9 TVs? We don't need all of that. We're going to have to go down. We're going to have to downsize. This is what we need plenty of. We need plenty of books. Black America. We need plenty of readings that's going to teach us and get us back on track. But first and foremost, we got to make a decision. Whose side are we on? Whose side are we on? Are we on our ancestor side? Or are we on our open enemy side? We know who they are. We need to acknowledge who they are. White people going to forever, white America is going to deny it. That's not us. That's not us. We did not do that. That's not us. Oh, yes, this is you. This is you, white America. And Black America, don't you be swayed. Don't you let nobody tell you, we've been together. Black people and white people, we've come a long way. We ain't came no damn where. We ain't came nowhere. Spinning wheels in hell. Spinning wheels in hell. That's all we've been doing. Because I know Black America ain't driving. Black America ain't sitting at the wheel. So who else you think got their foot on the gas and the other foot on the brake? Black America just sitting in the back, holding on to the little thing up there that you hang your clothes on. Got the arm hanging out the window. Car just revving the ain't nobody moving nowhere. Because Black America ain't steering nothing. White America steering everything because it's long ass. Black America refused to see who's really who. And this is about white America. This is about white America. We ain't got to bring up all the other peoples in the world because they were used, some damn fools doing it. Like white America ain't gonna do it to them. Then the thing about it is other people want to come here to America and act like, white folks want to treat us like they white. Then they get their wake-up call and it's like, Black people, you told us. Ain't no sincerity for Black America. Where's the sincerity for Black America? The parent of all people. The parent of all people, I think we need to keep our money and ourselves, our fruits to each other. We don't need to spend nothing. We don't need to shoot nothing with nobody else but Black people. We sure don't. Because, see, everybody trying to turn the wheel so that we'll decrease in number and they can go ahead. See, the whole thing is to exterminate Black America. All of these agendas is leading to one outcome, and that's no more Black people. Maybe a few thousand, maybe 100,000, maybe 75,000, just so we can have somebody to do the grunt work. So everything is to decrease Black population all over the world, really. But see, that ain't doing nothing but gonna decrease the world. See, that's done flipped around because cosmic energy is sick of the bullshit of what happened to cosmic energy's manifestation. See, they done took cosmic energy's manifestation, the black man, the black woman, and they done desecrated it. Yeah, they done disrespected it so bad. Cosmic energy will never forgive them. Mother Gaia will never forgive them. Cosmic energy and Mother Gaia is probably at the brink of ending our life because of what was done and what's still being done to Black America. I'm not saying that cosmic energy don't sympathize and send out justice for other peoples in the world, but because they do. You know, they do. That's cosmic energy. It's fair. It's fair and equal. You know, y'all wasn't lying about that. God, as you call him and stuff, you know. However, cosmic energy made sure other people received their repentance and reparations. What was that? The Native Americans, the Jews, the Japanese, the Italians, everybody got theirs. And karma came on those who did these atrocious crimes too. Karma did come. It ain't like they got away with it. Oh, there was some consequences to what was done to innocent people too. Now, these innocent people too. However, that repayment brought mercy that America refuses to do. There will be no mercy for America. White America, there will be no mercy. And Black people, we so calm and forgiving to them and loving to white America. They might get a little mercy from some of y'all, but it won't be none coming from me. It won't be none coming from me, not for this. And you still trying your best to hide it. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot of people finna be mad, upset, because they don't want to be on the right side of the fight. See, when you see a good fight, you got to get in it. You can't just sit on the sideline and be, I'm not gonna get in that fight right there. I'm gonna let him do what he doing over there, knowing he just the worst crime. To know that someone take a baby and just stomp on that baby head. Cause they Black. The mama done pissed everybody off. The Black mama down there hollering and screaming about some white men done killed her husband. And, she pregnant. We're going to chase her. We're going to get her too. Cause I told you it was Black women. Black women were lynched too. There's a lot of Black women were lynched. White women were very hateful. Oh yeah, the white masters, they wanted the Black women. Yeah, they wanted them and they got them. The white women was hateful to Black women and stuff. They knew a lot that was going on. But now, oh no, they will cry for days if you try to tell a white woman what their history is, what she really is. What are you hiding? Why you ain't said nothing about y'all spine? What's really in your spine? Why you ain't said nothing? Knowing you got all of this in your family, all of these clanimals, because that's who they are. That's what they do to us. And that's what they do. Who gonna deny it? Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Because it ain't so exposed now. Black America feel a little safe that, okay, it ain't exposed. Yeah, we can go camping. Yeah, let's get married, Sabrina. Carrying her ass sitting at the wedding and stuff like, yeah, I can't wait to tell Ken to take his ass down to the pool. Cause they racist. One generation, two generation might be okay. Yeah, come on, let's hang out. Because, see, it's all right to be, I guess, hell, I would never walk around no garden snakes. But I guess some people walk barefoot, around garden snakes and stuff. But hell, if you know it's boa constrictors out there and rattlesnakes and pythons and stuff, and you got your ass, Black America, out here strolling through the grass, no shoes, no knee-high boots, just strolling through the grass, gonna lay back and watch the sun a little bit, look at the clouds and stuff, and ass gonna get ate up. Because when somebody show you who they are, believe them. Believe them, especially when you know much ain't changed. You might see a little bit of change. Because when you look at mainstream media, it make it seem like, wow, we done came a long way. We ain't went nobody. We ain't went nowhere. Somebody got their foot on the gas and the brake, and the car just revving up. Because Black America ain't driving. Black America ain't steering Black America. Everybody else steering Black America. Hell, white folks, they the one got the wheel, but other people, white folks be like, hold that wheel for me. Hold that wheel for me. Let me light a cigarette. Let me light me a cigarette. And they lean over and hold the wheel while white America light their cigarette or whatever they doing. Put some snuff in their jaw. And yeah, and Black America just sitting in the back seat. It's a new day now, Black America. You got a choice to make. And I already done said I'm not finna browbeat y'all. I'm not finna browbeat us. I'm not finna make us feel like, we don't have a choice, because we do. I'm not finna sugarcoat it and make it easy. I know we need hope. I know we done mingled and we done married with these people and stuff, but it's true. Now, however y'all decide to handle it with your peoples, your non-melanin folks and stuff, I don't know and I don't care. But I know for our ancestors, it will be exposed. Black America, you just got your choice to make. You got your choice to make. Maybe you want to stay with Sabrina now. Maybe you want to, take a chance with them garden snakes. I don't know. That's just like every other decision. When they came out with the vaccine 19, everybody made their decision. Went down there and took it everywhere. Just like everything else, we make our decisions. The election, everybody ran down there and slapped that ballot in there. Same thing with this right here. Make your decision. Whose side are you on? It ain't got to be that difficult. It ain't got to be that difficult. I try to break it down for us because I know we ain't really getting it. They done fucked us up. Our minds done turned to mush. And see, everybody ain't telling us. Don't nobody want to tell us. Everybody want to make like, oh yeah, if we fix this situation and that situation right there, because don't nobody want to say, get the fuck away from white America. Get the hell away from under white America. That's it. Them few words right there. Because when you get from under your oppressor, then you can do what you need to do. Then you can see what you need to see. You ain't worried about his ass looking over your shoulder. But his ass over there sewing some cloth together. Oh, you see, you need that. I'm gonna give it to you. You're so generous. Just love black people. Just ask me if you need anything. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Just ask me if you need anything. Just the sweetest people you ever would meet. Faking the funk, ain't said a word or a whisper. Then look at here. We need to heal. I mean, they've been in our life so damn long. Why ain't nobody said, look at here? We need to talk about this so we can heal. When was the last time white America said, hey, we're going to talk about this and we're going to, find some healing among us? When they wrote these books decades ago, and then white America was just like, I'll write the shit here. We don't care shit. We still underground with it. Not sincere, so much insincerity. So we got to do it all ourselves. We got to do it all ourselves. I mean, y'all see how thick these damn books are? I mean, what the hell? You ain't even got no room for Harlequin romance. And Zane and John Grisham. You ain't got no room for none of that shit no more. Black America. The only true crime Black America need to be looking at, studying, watching, taking notes. It's right here. Right here. Who else gonna do it? Who else want to save Black America? Who else on your ancestor side? He gone. It wasn't many people like him. There weren't many people like him. And half of the non-melanin people that claim they like John Brown, oh yeah, no justice, no peace, power to the people. They ass ain't even told Black America, hey, we finna show y'all how to patrol your own community. Ain't said word or whisper. We know what y'all want. We know what y'all need to do. And we can do it. Allies ain't said nothing. Come on, let's walk around this block. Come on, let's walk around this block. Instead of saying, come on, let's learn how to patrol around this block so Black America can begin to get some control in their community. Start with one block. I did hear some years ago that I think it was Philadelphia had a organization, a family that was patrolling their community. It might have been New Era Detroit, but I know where I'm at. They ain't doing it. Not like the Panthers told us to do it. See, we had specific models and blueprints. Prosperity. And we had some specific plans that were left to us to do. See, it wasn't just a rough draft. It wasn't just rough draft that they left us. They left us legit plans to put in place so that we can do what we need to do to ensure our safety, and we'll be able to provide for each other. We would have been able, if we was out patrolling our own communities, we would have been able to ensure that every single mother on that block had what she need for them babies. We would have been able to ensure that families that need help with their light bill, or that we see a candle in the window every night, we know they need help with their light bill. We see kids just out unattended and stuff. We know somebody need some assistance, even if it's just a little bit, a few hours a day or something. But see, we ain't never used nothing. We ain't never used nothing that our ancestors left us, because everybody come in and take it and they use it, if you want to call it that, but they put it to use, but not to our benefit. Not to our benefit. I'm glad we got, you can go anywhere, any city, and we got organizations that help you with stuff. They help you with stuff. But what about the stuff that we truly need, the detrimental things that we need to be doing? And they know we need to be doing them. What is it? I mean, do we have to be so specific and cuss their ass out and just tell them, God damn it, Give us our motherfucking documents. Give us our statistics. All the damn data your asses got. Is it true that you really think we don't know? You finna lead us into a new world order with nothing. Hell, you let us walk right in off the plantation with nothing. Nothing whatsoever. A jug of cider. And what was it, an apple in the movie Jane Pittman? Was that an apple or a potato? A hard-ass potato. As soon as we left them plantations, they was on the prowl, looking for black folks. They was on the prowl, and they found them. And black folks didn't know where to go because, in the movie, and it wasn't far from the truth, in the movie they were talking about, where they were going to go after they got the word that, they were free. And they were talking about where they going to go to and stuff. And, I'm going to go up north, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go there and stuff. So the next day when they decided they were leaving, and the master was sitting on the porch, and he was crying, and face all red, and the missus had her baby, and she didn't know how to hold the baby and stuff, and she just, was hoping one of the black women would come and get the baby, but no, everybody leaving, except for the slaves. They said, oh, we'll stay, because the master was like, you stay, I'll be good to you, and I'll pay you good, and I never was mean to you like the other masters was. And so some of them were fools and said, yeah, we'll stay. And we'll live in the slave quarter. And so they did. So, as soon as they walked off the plantation, and I ain't talking about just one plantation. I'm talking about all the plantations. But some of them plantations kept the slaves. Because, see, they were so far down south, right? It took a while for the word to get down there. It took a while for, people to get the word that we were free. Because some masters were like, no, we ain't telling them nothing. Don't tell them nothing. We so far back here, they can't read. Ain't nobody coming to visit. They can even get to them because we can see them coming up the road to the big house. So some slaves, had to wait until the Union Army actually went there, till they actually made it there. I think the longest I heard was like a year after the slaves walked off the plantation. That would have been like 1856 or 57, I guess, something like that. So yeah, they didn't want to do it. It was just some really challenging times. Our ancestors went through so much hell. I don't know how we still believe in the devil under the ground. I don't, but hey, that's just me. I digress. That's just me. I started researching. I started being sincere. I started being sincere. I didn't know it was going to come to all of this being exposed. I didn't know it was going to come to all of this. The hidden, so much hidden atrocity. I don't know how, those that do know, Black Americans that do know, I don't know how the hell y'all kept it a secret too. I mean, hell, how many tufts did you get in your pillow? Because, everybody wants that lap of luxury. Everybody wants that bag. Everybody want to keep up with the Joneses, want to fit in with white America, want to be, you want to be Caucasian. And so I'm just like, well, I must be different. See, people like us must be different. When we like, here, fuck that shit here, keep that shit. You did something totally anti-life. All of that other shit don't mean a damn thing. This right here is what's finna be on the forefront. They finna be on the forefront. Because now, see, Black America, we're in a new awakening. Everybody been studying us, experimenting on us, sabotaging us. Now it's time for Black America to study their asses before we leave here. The mind change. we just walked off the plantation free of the physical chains. Them mind chains got worse after we walked off the plantation. They did this stuff right here when we were free. They did this stuff right here when Black people were physically free. Jesse Washington, John Hartfield, Mary Turner, Emmett Till. They did some cruel, devilish, hateful things when we was in slavery. But see, they had us. They had us there. They had them bodies, our bodies, in their possession. And I guess that warranted us some, I guess that, we finna read. I guess that gave us a little mercy from them. Because even though they will whip you, they whipped us. You seen the brother on all them the memes and stuff with his back all cut up from them lashes when they whipped him. They whipped us so bad and stuff. The flesh was just running down the wall like a wet candle. You know how you melting your candle burning and it start just dripping down? That's how much they whipped slaves. The skin was just running down the body. And then they say, no, don't touch them. And the other slaves would sneak over there after the master and them done left and give them a little water and try to sing to them and just tell them, hold on. And when they did get to them, ain't no way they could pick the meat off. You just got to let it heal. Let it heal and leave it alone. Sterilize it, let it heal and leave it alone. That's why his back was all puckered like that, because they couldn't peel it off. It was just too painful. They couldn't do it. So they had to let it just heal like that. Ain't no telling how long he had to stay on his stomach, because he couldn't lay on his back. He couldn't lean back on his back. Horrible things that they did. And then imagine after our people got free. After our people got free, say that's when it kind of like went to an all-time satanic, cannibalistic, acceleration almost. It's like they almost what do you call it? Shifted. They almost shifted shapes. If our ancestors could, they would tell us exactly what they saw. Snarling at them, ravaging at them, just clawing, trying to eat them. And, they'll tell us exactly what they saw if they could. That's why and they did. They did. We're going to find out. We're going to read it right here. Because it was after slavery, what I was saying, when they started dragging Black people, hooking them up to the back of their trucks, chaining them. I'm not talking about no rope. I'm talking about a chain. Chain them to the back of their truck, then just drive through the whole town. 6 miles long. And you gonna drag a whole Black man, a whole man, a whole person, a soul, a life through the whole town. White America. Then you get to the lynching spot where you're gonna lynch him at. And you beat him, you cut him, you stab him, you torch him, cut off stuff, cut him up, cut off his ears, nose, cut off his toes. Oh, white people in it together. It's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. Sometimes it might have been a few, a few in the attack, the mob attack and stuff, like maybe 12 or 7 or 15, but usually it's in the thousands. They came out in the thousands because it was really accepted to do that. And at this time, we were free. We were free. Wasn't considered 3/5 of a man like in the slave days and stuff. It wasn't like, when they couldn't vote. They were free. It supposedly had been, we done reached some type of progress. That's what we were thinking. That's what we thinking now. We done made some kind of progress. until they show us again. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Until they show us again. And they will. And society gonna let them. Because society is saying to themselves, we not finna take their place. No, we not finna take their place. If anybody finna be oppressed, if anybody finna be on the bottom, it's finna be Black America. It ain't finna be us. Because we ain't got no friends. Ain't nobody concerned about Black America. Don't nobody care if we get no healing. So what? They trying to wipe them out anyway. What do we care about saving them? We're trying to exterminate them. Then they start telling on each other. Racism is all about y'all do your hair like black people. What are you talking about? Your country the one insisted that we send rice, radiated rice to them. Well, what are y'all talking about? You the one said that we could target them by the education system. It was your plan to build up all the prisons. See, everybody in on it. Everybody in on it, and everybody is pawns in it. Because white America don't give a damn who do and who don't. They know they ain't gonna never let it go. And for you, Black America, your ass got away. You got away. You know damn well you weren't supposed to get away. And they ready now, trying to find a way to get your ass back. So that's why, yeah, Black America, you better do your studying. Because you better be able to tell everybody, you better be able to tell everybody, and their mama, and their grandmama, that for what they ass have done, it ain't no going back. It ain't no going back nowhere. And it very well might not be no going forward. Because, see, a lot of us done already decided whose side we on. I already know whose side I'm on. Honey, I can call it red today. Spirit come through. Sure can, baby. Ancestors take the wheel and the tires from their asses. Crash this whole motherfucker. But no, Black America, no, it's always done where we can let it be. I know we finna read. Yeah, we can let it be. It's all right. We survived it. It's not happening anymore. Faith, stop. We got babies together, businesses. Hell, that was to make Black America think that the illusion of inclusion was real. It wasn't even real. It was like a dollhouse. You know how you get the real, they got some pretty doll houses. Now they look like real houses, but they real small. But you know, like when we were kids, it was like these little plastic doll houses and stuff. And then you get your Barbie doll and you set them in the house with the chairs. And then they got the little plastic TV, the little plastic table and stuff, you know. It's like a real house. Well, now they got these little houses and stuff that look like a house, you know, but it's all fake. Everything fake. The people fake, the house fake, the furniture fake. The whole life is fake. So it is here. It is here. The only thing that's really true and real for us is this right here. Because right now, hell, we might be close up on a war. From what I've been listening to, and all I got to say about that is, hell, we better hurry the hell up. Because somebody needs to say, hey, we ain't done nothing to y'all. So can you, instead of doing it where everybody finna get some, can you get where you need to get and come and get them? Because a lot of us over here ain't had nothing to do with, don't even know about nothing outside of United States. Yeah, I heard something about some long-range missiles. Biden done let somebody have. And the other man pissed off about it. So I'm like, well, hell, long-range missiles that can reach over here. But they got the United States name on them, I guess. But my first and final concern is Black America. We need to get together. I mean, I don't know which way the attack's coming. It's so many of them. So many agendas, so many attacks. I do got a video for us to watch. You know, it's going to be a long night. Go to sleep. Go to bed and go to sleep. Me and the ancestors got things to do. You ain't got to stay here with us. You do not have to stay here with us. We doing this. We love y'all too. We truly love y'all. Let me explain this right here. We got a couple of videos. And, you know, this one right here is directly related to what happened, to the self-hate. We discovering all the self-hate, the roots of the self-hate that permeates Black America. Everything we do, self-hate is there. Some of us can notice it right away and we don't linger around. Because we know, it's a lot of self-hate in here. I better get my shit and go. Some of us think, it's a lot of self-hate in here, but as long as I stay over here and, you know, don't interact with it, don't look at it and stuff, you know. But it's a lot of self-hate. And we at BoldenUnchained, we finna get to the root of it. That's what we finna do. But this whole language, this video right here is very, you know, we gonna get through it, okay? Probably a little graphic and stuff, but everything it's graphic. It's graphic. We know it shouldn't be no minors, no kids in here. Hell, some of us can't even deal with the truth of what's happened to Black America. I know I can't. I asked the ancestors today. Me reading, how deep? How deep? When is somebody else gonna read and stuff? Because it's that traumatizing. We already traumatized, but what choice do we have? Don't make no sense. Everything is against us. The very language we speak. That's what the video about. This very language that we speak is a curse on our people. I get that might be the beginning. It's part of the self-hate. It's definitely part of the self-hate. But then when we look at this video, we need to start recognizing these are the reasons why our self-hate exists. But what could we do in some of these situations? This video, white America kept metal mask on the faces of Black people, Black slaves for 100 years. I mean, whole mask on their whole face. Sometimes it covered their nose and their mouth. Sometimes it covered everything but the eyes. To blot out everything. To blot out everything. Don't you speak a word. Don't you remember nothing. You focus on learning this language. So we learn English. Broken English, but we learn English. But that's not our language. This language curses us, Black America. Every morning we wake up, good morning. Good morning. What's so good about morning? Ain't we done mourned enough? And I ain't got no comfort, no closure for all this mourning. I know, so I just learned it a few years ago, started saying good day myself. But I know a lot of us are waking up, a lot of us are realizing the subtle chains that's still holding us captive. They're not physical chains no more. They're mental chains now. And they cover across the whole board for Black America because you got away. And this right here, it couldn't happen no more. The greatest thing, the greatest craving ever to be seen here in America, the greatest appetite to be satisfied, satiated, is white America ravaging Black America. That's what happened. Ain't we here to talk about the roots of the self-hate? I ain't talking about everybody else. I'm talking about the roots of the self-hate on Black people that permeates Black people. Ain't that why we're here? That's why I'm here, in here. And this is mine. So that's why we here. But if that's not why you here, then you probably need to go. Because we're not looking to spread no sugar. BoldenUnchained, we ain't looking to spread no sugar, see? No, we know whose side we on. You think our ancestors finna spread sugar on this shit? Do you really think that our ancestors is finna get a packet of sugar and tear it open and spread it on this bullshit that happened to them? All of this torture, all of this trauma, things we can't even imagine, we can't even think of. White America showed hope. Oh, please don't let anyone ever find out. Oh, they soon to just start just screaming and crying when this really comes out in Black America. See, this is about Black America. This is not about everybody else. This is about when we look at what was done. Black America must see what was done. It don't give a damn about everybody else knowing. Because they don't care about Black lives. They don't care about Black bodies. Ain't nobody ever cared about our ancestors. See? So Black America need to wake up and be the ones that look it right in its face to face. Face to face. Ain't no need in looking at my nose, looking at my teeth. You need to look in my eyes. We need to look white America face to face. All this side looking and looking down and yeah, I'm going to look at your eyebrows. Look anywhere but face to face. That's how you confront something. I know we're going to read. We're going to be up all night. And if we do, where we going? Well, we ought to be asleep. But see, we're in an awakening. We're in a shift. There is a shift happening for Black America, especially if you're Black. If you ain't Black, then I don't know, you just here. But hopefully you learning something about yourself and your peoples. And hopefully you decide whose side you want to be on. Because Black America is sure deciding whose side we on. Won't be no spreading sugar over here. Spreading sugar on this shit. Because white America ain't been nothing but bullshit. Nothing but bullshit. All shit. Horse shit, bullshit, dog shit, cat shit, fish shit. That's all white America been to Black America. Lie to y'all. I was going to say lie to your damn self, but we ain't damn, see. How could a people that go through this survive this? How could a people that survive this still be as forgiving, as non-vengeful, ain't seeking payback? Half of us don't even want reparations. And some of us are owed 2 reparations. No, I don't want reparations. Don't give it to us. Well, will you kindly give it to somebody else? Because, see, everybody ain't trying to forgive white America. Everybody ain't trying to keep white America in comfort. We got to keep Karen and Ken sane. We got to keep Sabrina all right. We can't let nothing happen to Sabrina. We got to keep Sabrina all right. Bring Sabrina with us. No, the hell we ain't. You better take your ass over there with Sabrina now. Because it's time for Black America to go. Yeah, it's time for Black America to go. As sure as Pap Singleton walked through Tennessee and said he done had enough. Come on, let's go. And let everybody to Kansas. We going west. As sure as his ass said, come on, we leaving. That's what Black America doing. And you can't come. You either going to be with white America or you going to be with Black America. But you going to be. And you going to be sincere. Because, see, we ain't got no more time to waste. We ain't got no more time to waste with nobody. If you want to be mad at the folks that made a fool out of you. Be mad at the folks that made you turn against a people that ain't never hurt nobody, that all we wanted is to be free. We making contributions and inventing stuff, life-saving contributions. Hell, who life is this autonomous car finna save? This robot dog, who life is a robot dog finna save? Is it gonna be a service dog? All of this shit that's being built up by mankind ain't even pro-life. It ain't giving life to nobody. The artificial suns they done made. That's finna take life. Life needs the sun. Even if we can understand and hold hands, because we ain't nothing but cosmic energy, Black America. You keep that in mind, okay? What about all the other living things on the planet without the sun that would die? The marine life would die. The ocean and the marine life need the sun. Plant life, trees, flowers, shrubs, need the sun, would die. The animal kingdom need the sun. So see, Black America, this whole thing, we got to look at it so we can get through it. Because, yeah, it's finna get very, very rough for Black America. Finna be like another motherfucking depression, plantation, a great migration from the plantation. I don't know, but who is you finna follow? Whose side is you on? Where does your loyalty lie? Are you even sincere? Who trying to sacrifice us again? I want to know that. Who trying to sacrifice Black America again? Because you won't get to subtly sacrifice us no more. Sure won't, honey. No, nobody. Everybody finna show yourself for what you've been, what you done taught, your kids, your friends, your family. Savage Black folk. We ain't never been no savages. We hate ourselves so much, it seems like we could be savages. But now, savages is people that do stuff like this. Savages is people that do stuff like this. People that just harm and hurt and mutilate a little bitty baby. People that take a whole skate or whatever, that big old a scythe, and just plunge it into the back of a baby's head, a newborn baby, right there at that soft spot. Talking about we gotta put that up there to open up the soft spot right there. You know, we gotta open it up a little bit so this baby will be able to survive. And 98% of the time, the baby died, and the other 2% of the babies that did live was so messed up they never grew and they never learned and developed because they had that foreign ass instruments shoved into their skull and stuff, just evil shit. Those are savages. Savages are people that will hunt you down, eat off of you after they done burnt you and stuff, because you know, after they put black people on the fires and burnt their bodies, somebody was sitting down eating them. What the hell make us think they didn't eat their bodies? Just take a bite off of their legs and stuff, you know, just take a bite off the leg and stuff. Why else is you gonna walk around with a finger in your mouth, sucking on it, eating on it? Just nibbling a little bit. What, you gonna go take it home and just keep it forever and ever and ever? No, you're gonna go home and you're gonna gnaw on it. It's gonna be like a, you know, a piece of something you gnaw on, and you can keep it for a long time until you got to get another one. You know how people chew on toothpicks? Some people, every time you see them, they got a toothpick in their mouth. Every time you see them, they got a toothpick in their mouth. You're like, damn, is that even the same toothpick? And they just started laughing. Yeah, I know I see you over there chewing on it. But then when they show it to you, honey, ain't nothing wrong with the toothpick. Toothpick look like it's brand new. Well, what all this chewing and stuff? Because they just suck on it. It's like a comfort, like a pacifier. Those are savages. See, white media got us fucked up, got us believing that, yeah, we really some savages. No, we ain't. No, we ain't. We got some weaklings out here. And they need to be, we need to decide what to do with them. Because they need to be, you know, not running around here terrorizing, killing, trying to be the most savage white man they could ever be. Because that's what it is. Everybody, from what I done read so far, and we just started this book. And even in this book, it seemed to me like everybody has taken on the projection of white savagery. White savagery. Everybody doing it. But allegedly white people not doing it. You know, white people doing it undercover, where don't nobody see it and know that it's white people doing it. But, you know, they doing it because they started it. That's who they are, you know. But everybody else doing it because they fucked up. You know, everybody fucked up. That's why Black America, we got to get our motherfucking asses the fuck away from everybody. It's got to be about us now. It's got to be about our babies now. It's got to be about our ancestors now. Because this is it. This is the last round. This is the last round to stand up for yourself and your people. Now, I don't know. With this New World Order Project 2025, is we finna be underground? I don't know. Hell, what y'all got? Well, I'm just reading. What do y'all got in place for Black America? Because y'all the ones that's got the education. Y'all got the finances. Y'all got the land. You got the resources. Us down here, we done, a lot of us, we living paycheck to paycheck. We ain't even finished high school. We don't even know the lingo of what these people is talking about. The lingo itself, it's like the legalese. I don't know how many people understand the legalese. We got some Supreme Court stuff over there. And honey, I am telling you, you better have 2 or 3 dictionaries, a couple of highlighters, and a notebook so you can keep up with which word you need to look up. And it's going to be like 5 at a time. And, you know, then you do your research on it. You write down the definition, what they mean. Then you go back to your Supreme Court book so you can try to remember this mean that, and understand what's going on. The legalese, the system, the way it's written, it's told. That's why they said put it in a book. Because, see, Black America, we only learn the basic of this cursed language. We only learn the basic of this cursed language. Good morning. Good morning. First thing we say when we wake up. And that's the very first curse we done said to our people. But throughout the day, we saying all kind of curses. Oh, bless you. When somebody sneeze and cough, when you sneeze and cough, bless me. Just say prosperity. Just say prosperity, abundance. Pick some word that's different from what white America told us to say. Everything white America told black America to say, we're going to do opposite. It's that simple. It's that simple because we got to find the solutions. We got to find the resources. See? And hey, I already done told you right here, right now, I ain't got nothing but my books. So whatever y'all got, let's add it together. Let's add it together because that's all we got is each other. And I don't know what books you got over there, but hey, I'm the reader. I'll read. Now, any math books, you might want to give it to somebody else because I'm going to be sitting in there. But we got to do this. Ain't nobody else going to do it. Everybody else is probably scared as fuck right now. I know they feel the shift. Everybody feel the shift. Because, see, the more that white supremacy accelerates with their new world order, with all of these agendas and stuff, the more the shift is vibrating. The shift is vibrating among Black Americans. It's just up to you what you choose. Whose side are you on? I mean, you know, everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. But then again, we already know everybody, you know, everybody ain't built to be on Front Street, on front line. You know, everybody, we all got different purposes, you know, during this. Everybody ain't going to wake up at the same time. So we just got to get started small steps. Small steps. And from where I'm sitting, I know somebody is willing, ready, and able. And they already done decided. We finna sacrifice Black America that ain't deemed worthy. They don't quit school. They got all these kids. They ain't married. They ain't productive to society. They done got old. You know, they can't work no more. We gonna get rid of, we gonna sacrifice all of them. Hey, I don't know how they do the vetting and decide who. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out myself. My mind ain't never had to think about all of this. I ain't never in my entire life had to, you know, critique, dialogue, where I can literally see some of the stuff that they done did to our people. And you gonna see it too. Yeah, you gonna see it too. Because I already done asked the ancestors, help me show it to you. In every book I read, we finna see everything. You gonna feel like you were there. We gonna feel like we were right there. What you did, white America. And you think we just gonna be like, oh, it's okay. I felt you cut Kunta feet off, but it's okay. I feel the phantom foot. No, all of that is over with. We won't be excusing nothing no more. Sure, you decide whose side you on. That's all you got to do. That is all you got to do, honey. And from there, you'll know what else you need to do. Because it's either going to sit down or step your ass on. That's it and that's all. Sure will. Don't tell me. I know, right? Yeah, it's a shift happening and everybody feel it. Everybody feel it. They don't know what's going to happen with Black America. They know what was done because, see, everybody know about this. Everybody know about this, and they probably hoping and praying, oh, please let white America get these agendas up. Please let them get this whole sabotage in place, because if Black America wakes up and unifies, oh, they're going to be well in this stuff. You know how monkeys on a full moon, monkeys really be mating? You look at the Animal Planet channel, and monkeys be mating on the full moon, and you can hear them from miles away. And they just going, you know, all of them. You know, I'm still horse and stuff. But you can hear the monkeys because they mating. And, you know, they happy. They doing it. They doing it all night. They loud as hell. Well, that's how white America going to be. But they ain't going to be doing it. They're going to be wailing and crying and feeling, throwing the biggest tantrum you ever seen. Because they're going to feel like they got to make us stop. Stop exposing it. Then when we don't stop exposing it, that's when the tears is finna change to snarling, ravagery, clawing at you. That's when the rage finna come out. I don't know. Don't ask me where it came from and stuff. It just like it seemed like that's what it's going to be. But when you read and stuff, then you tell us what you see. Because, see, we got to start thinking about all of this. We got to start thinking about all of this. We can't just let it be. And then say, oh, stop projecting faith. Hell, it's right there in the books. It's right there in the books. Who lying? Where the lie? We don't even know if that scenario ain't in the book. So where the lie at? I digress. Oh no, I digress. I know everybody be saying I digress, but I don't say it. And I'm not going to start saying I digress. That's it and that's all. This cursed language right here, honey, better stop saying this shit. Stop saying that we are not damned. Because it is kind of, you don't even think nothing about you. Well, I be damned. Is that who I think it is? I be damned. No, we ain't. We ain't damned. Our babies ain't sinners either. Our babies is not sinners. Now, they babies might be sinners. Because, hell, you know what they is capable of. You know what your babies is capable of. So, they might be sinners. But not our babies. Our babies ain't sinners. How can we even believe all of these atrocious lies from savages if we wasn't indoctrinated, if we wasn't traumatized? See, it's simple. It is so simple. Whose side you on? Whose side are we on? I want the people that's up there that y'all really listen to, and you really take their words to heart. Ask Black America whose side they on, and then somebody let me know so I can say what I feel about it. Yes, it's going the other way. Yeah, let me know so I can say what I feel about it and what I see. Because, see, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to see what everybody else see. And if you don't think like me, you ain't going to see nothing of what I see. You're going to be like, what the hell is she talking about? So, and see, so we got to break this thinking, this European mindset we got. We got to break it. I mean, is we literally going to spend the rest of our life living like a white woman? Oh, my ancestors. You're going to live the rest of your life like a white woman and a white man. And then what? I digress. Let's read. And we are reading Racial Violence in the United States. And this right here is by Alan D. Grimshaw. The other book, Red Summer, the summer of 1919 and the awakening of Black America, that was Cameron McWhirter. I just had that out. We're done with that. We'll read it again at some point when someone else get their book too. Because, repetition, BoldenUnchained. We ain't got no problem with repetition. Because we trying to find out about the roots of our self-hate before we move on. So I don't know how long we even going to be here critiquing these roots of self-hate. But we going to find out where this self-hate come from. Because we finna get rid of it. We ain't never been this hard on each other before. We like 2 betta fish in a 10-gallon tank. The second Reconstruction and the beginnings of the Great Migration from 1878 to 1914. In the last decades of the 19th century, lynching became an institutionalized mode of social control used against both whites and blacks. And I think we read this. Yeah, because we read the Atlanta massacre. Because remember, they was asking where were the policemen? The race war in the North. Did we get to that? I think that's where we were. Oh, let's see here. Because I don't have no problem backing up. I do not have a problem, honey, backing up, and I think I will. So, you got things to do. You probably need to get you some rest. Yep. Because, hey, you see a good fight, get in it. It's a fight. It ain't going to be over overnight. It's a fight. And you see how thick this book is? We're going to be here for a while. So if you need to get you some rest, you go get you some rest. Take care of yourself. The Second Reconstruction and the beginnings of the Great Migration, 1878 to 1914. In the last decades of the 19th century, lynching became an institutionalized mode of social control, used against both blacks and whites, in both the North and the South. Between 1882, the first year for which records are available, because before then, it wasn't no records. For nobody keeping records and stuff, It just wasn't. People had to go on their memory and stuff. Yeah. And, then they started keeping records of it in 1882. Can you imagine all the reading we finna do? The learning that we finna get? Y'all go to y'all libraries. Go to your libraries. If they do got banned books, look through them. Don't get that Harlequin romance and John Grisham and shit, because we passed that. And who is the other one we like to read? Zane, I think. You come out of there with books that you need in your library. That's it. Okay? Come out of there with only books you need in your library. Now, you can get books like gardening, your chakra, detoxing, medical, and stuff like that. But just don't come out with no bullshit. Because it's saying right here, they started documenting at 1882. That's when they started documenting. Now, before then, like in 1619, and, when it was still in its infancy of all of the savagery and stuff, I don't guess we'll probably find no documentations on that. Maybe. The ancestors is revealing everything. Cosmos is letting it all get out to us. It ain't nothing we won't learn if we just don't look. Just look. It ain't nothing that we won't find. It won't find us, because it's time for us to know these things. This is not by coincidence. White America, no. They ready to cry now. Some of them crying now on YouTube and stuff. I be looking at some of the videos of them behind. Ain't no mercy. It just ain't no mercy. Not for that right there. So you need to learn to live, basically. Yeah, they need to learn to stop living so high and mighty and stuff, because really that's what they upset about now, because they realizing that they finna lose some of that plushness in that pillow. One of them toughs finna come out that pillow, so they like, oh, we can't drive all 5 of our cars now. And black people, we just like hell shit. We ain't even had 5 cars, But yeah, they come to loose at the seams now. But wait until they realize Black America is telling everybody about the savage. Oh, they really finna flip out then and stuff. And we don't give a damn, because we leaving. We leaving white America. That's it, and that's all. Decide whose side you on. Let's read. Yep. So between 1882, the first year which records are available, and the turn of the century, there was only 1 year in which fewer than 100 lynchings were recorded, maybe 99. But it was only 1 year that it was less than 100 slaves lynched. And yeah, it probably was 99, maybe 98. The rest of the years, it was 100, Over 100. Like that was the entertainment. Within most years, there were more Negro victims than white. The selection of Guzman details instances of collective violence against individuals by year, race, state, and alleged cause for the period 1882 to 1951. My mama was born in 1952. In the decade immediately preceding World War I, a pattern began to emerge in which white assault was no longer directed against individual victims, but against the entire Black community. See, they didn't just target one Black person. Oh, no. It was the whole Black community that was targeted. That ass was finna be got. Yeah, that's who they assaulted. Oh, and this was after the World War I. And Black people, well, let's continue. These assaults, in which no distinction of the guilt or innocence of the victims were made, occurred in both the South and the North. In some instances, alleged crimes of individual Negroes were generalized to a characterization of a criminal Black community, like all Blacks was doing. Like the one Black raped somebody, and they most likely was in a relationship, because that's what happened. When they were found out, the white women usually said, "Oh no, he raped me." And then even if she did say, "Yeah, we're in love," he still was finna get lynched. He still was finna get lynched. Either way it go. So just don't be around white folks. But sometimes it wouldn't help. He wasn't around white folks. The Black man just walking home from work. He just out coming from the grocery store. It was so many targets. It was hard to know if you could do this safely or do that safely. I don't know how our people managed to just, not lose their sanity. They didn't lose their sanity. They didn't lose their sanity. No, they dealt with it and tried to get through it because they knew they had to make sure we wasn't in them chains. That's why they didn't lose their sanity. That's like on that the one video, the Book of Negroes, I think it was. And they had the baby on the slave ship under the bottom. I think the baby grew up to be Aminata. Yeah, in the Book of Negroes. And because the lady was pregnant, one of the African that they kidnapped was pregnant, and she had the baby on the ship. Oh no, that wasn't that was the same movie, but it was the young girl, Aminata. She the one that caught the baby. Cause see, they were finna throw the pregnant woman over the ship. Cause they were like, "Oh, this one's pregnant. We gotta throw her over. She got a baby. We can't take care of a baby." But Aminata was like, "No, my mother taught me how to catch babies." And so they were like, "Oh, you can deliver the baby." So they let her deliver the baby and stuff. And the baby could nurse, Our milk is the best milk. The baby could nurse and stuff. They survived. The baby survived and stuff. What happened was, under the ship, everybody took turns with the baby. They would hand the baby from, they had their shackles on because they were chained down under the bottom of the ship. But they each had the baby. And, that kept the baby comfortable and, not as peace, as babies should be, So everybody under the ship that was in chains and stuff, took turns with the baby and stuff. And then, of course, the mother was nursing the baby. But as far as, keeping the baby clean and stuff, they couldn't even keep themselves clean. Hell, it's a wonder they didn't have the baby in chains. But the baby arms and stuff wouldn't have fit anyway, But them motherfuckers, it's a wonder. They would have if they could have. I don't doubt it. Yeah, I don't spare no mercy. Sure, no, I don't. And Emmett Till is not in heaven with Carolyn Bryant. I just had to say that because I don't spare no mercy for them. Yep. It's just how it is. These assaults in which no distinction of the guilt or innocence of the victim was made and occurred in both the South and the North. In some instances, alleged crimes of individual Negroes were generalized to a characterization of a criminal black community. In others, causation was considerably more complex and reflected political disputes among whites as well as resentment against the growing Negro middle class. They the ones wanted us to have all these babies, and when we did and we got free, we still had our big families, but we was able to get educated now. So everybody got education. Of course, you're gonna see us excel as a people. We wasn't gonna stay at the bottom, you know, in the shanties as they call them, which we know was the shacks. But just to see that achievement, white folks couldn't stand it. They were like, oh, now they middle class. Couldn't win for losing. Not with them. Two such riots, one was in Atlanta and one was in Springfield, Illinois, are described in the other selections in this chapter. Now, the Atlanta massacre. The following article is from an educated Negro, a lifelong resident of Georgia, in whom, were it safe to print his name, our readers would have every confidence. But he don't. He ain't got no confidence in them print his name, so they didn't. But Atlanta, Georgia has again demonstrated that it is not a civilized community. Last Sunday, the Atlanta News, hard pressed for existence and competition with two other afternoon papers. See, all the papers in Atlanta were competing against each other. Who gonna get the most subscribers? We need more people than they got. So they had to embellish the stories. And you know what the number one story was? And Atlanta News felt called upon to print sensational charges. They had to sensationalize these charges of assault upon white women by Negroes. And so, yeah, they embellished them, made them seem like, oh, this is the worst crime ever that happened to this white woman that was raped, slapped a little bit. If she was raped, she got some cock, but we can't say she was raped, but she definitely got some cock. Hell, they might have slapped her. Why you with that black man? You know? Yeah, but we got to think about these things. It ain't always what white America say it is. We should know that. Not one of these charges had yet been proved. They just said it. But the mere report, just reporting it, like white media did, I told y'all, white media was the one sending out the sick 'em. But the mere report was enough to call together all the white toughs in the city as soon as they had drawn their week's wages. So, honey, as soon as they got their paycheck, all of them, yeah, we get our paycheck Friday. As soon as we get our check, it's on. We're going to lynch a nigger. That's how it was. So as soon as they got their wages and to give them license, let me read it again. Not one of these charges had yet been proved, but the mere report was enough to call together all the white toughs in the city as soon as they had drawn their week's wages and to give them license to set upon innocent and unsuspecting blacks wherever found and butcher them upon the spot. So they waited to get their paychecks so they can go get set up. They can go get set up, get licensed, get their little ammunition, get their guns, put on their gear. You know how you go on to war and stuff, and you really put on your uniform, your troop uniform. Oh, they went all out to go hunt niggas and butcher them on sight. It's right here. Yeah, I can literally see them getting ready while they waiting on their checks and You know, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that, and we're going to go hunt us some niggas. It was a whole spectacle. It was a event to them. The cause of all this violence, by careful inquiry, I have traced to 4 sources, 1 remote and 3 immediate. Yeah, we read this last night, remember? The remote cause is the contest between Hoke Smith, Hoke, and Clark Howell for governor, in which both men openly declared that Negroes have no rights save those granted through sufferance by the white people. Them the only rights they got. If a white person say, no, I'm going to cut off your leg until I decide not to cut it off no more, then that's the right that black person got. Can't nobody else come along and say, no, you ain't. You going to cut it off at the toes and you going to leave it alone. See, them were the rights that they mentioned in here. The only rights was the rights they got from white people. The 3 immediate causes are there was circulated by the Atlanta newspapers, the News and the Georgian, and we're going to hear them a lot, especially because they were the main newspapers. The report that 5 assaults had occurred in 1 week and an additional assault on Saturday. Not one of which the charges has been proved again. Ain't nothing been proved. They just speculating. They just saying. They don't know who. Could have been one of them. Probably was one of them. But that was the first one. The second one is there's a sharp struggle for existence among 3 evening papers, which feel called upon to use any measures whatsoever to attract readers among a population that can be best attracted by the abuse of the Negro. So see, they know to get the most people, we got to talk about abuse by the Negro. We want people to buy this newspaper. We got to let them know that, yeah, you love to hear about what the Negroes done. That's what we're going to print. That's how they reel them in. So all of these newspapers, that's what they do. That was their competition. And today, white media, that's what they do. They try to outdo each other to see who can make the black man seem like the biggest savage, the most dangerous, lazy, incorrigible one out here. And all the people, that's what white media do. They ain't never changed. Yep. The third one is there's an increasing number of educated and prosperous Negroes whose business and whose success are an eyesore to some of the whites who can in no peaceful way prevent that progress. White people can't stop it. Prosperity. As the facts here will show. The facts about the most aggravating case of assault I have found to be as follows. A Negro whose purpose was unknown was seen in the yard of a white woman. She drove him away with abusive language without asking him about his mission. The Negro again returned. The woman again began to call him vile names and to scream and to cry that the Negro was attempting to assault her. A mob at once assembled. They got ready at once. That's all they had to hear. That's all. A mob at once assembled, and before they had well got together all the evening papers, the News and the Georgian especially, all the papers were circulating. Extra, read all about it. You know, we used to hear that all the time, like New York and stuff. That was down south started it. I guess it was down south started because they were the one saying extras, under the glaring headline, another assault. That was the headline, another assault, and then they out hollering, extra, read all about it. So, you know, white people come and get the newspaper stuff. Then separate, and extra editions of the news appeared hourly, every hour until dark. And that one was saying another assault. It seemed only necessary for a white woman to see a Negro meeting her in the same street or looking at her ass on her front porch to make her cry out assault. This is the collective, this is the evidence that drove the editors mad and made them advocate the gathering of a mob to murder peaceable Negroes. The editors, why the editors being mad? They know they lying. They know they embellishing the story. White media, mainstream media, it is coming out little by little that the whole affair was planned. They planned the whole thing. A Negro lad, the driver of a laundry wagon, told me that his employer said to him Saturday morning, "Well, Sammy, we are going to kill all the niggas tonight." A child. The most horrible exhibition of savagery was in the treatment of Negro passengers on the streetcars as often as they came into the public square. I guess every time they came, it said as often as they came into the public square, Negro men, women, and children were beaten unmercifully. Even the Negro barbers were dragged out of their shops while they were shaving white men. They were beaten and their shops demolished. One of the finest shops in the whole country had the glass front smashed because the owner was colored. It is believed that this violence upon the barbers was done by white barbers who were members of the mob and who had been unable to cope successfully in Atlanta in competition with Negro barbers. They couldn't cut their own hair. White barbers couldn't cut their own hair. They couldn't cut other white men's hair. The white men rather go to the barbers, the black barbers, to cut their hair. So white barbers was pissed about it. They used the mob as a cover to destroy their competitors. A hardware store and a pawn shop were broken into by the mob, and all the revolvers and ammunition was taken, but none of the stores would sell weapons to the Negroes, not even to save themselves. A Negro fled through a fruit house kept by Greeks, and when the Greeks attempted to defend their store against the mob, it was straight away demolished and the fruit taken. A stable owner with revolver in hand defied the mob to break open his door to take his horses to chase Negroes to the suburb. He said no. He sure did, and he was just one man. A stable owner with revolver in his hand, one revolver, defied the mob to break open his door to take his horses to chase Negroes to the suburbs. I can hear him now. Kick open my door, trying to chase some Negroes and see what's going to happen. This only shows what one policeman might have done. They ass left. Fucking cowards. Where were the policemen? This is what all the Negroes asked at first. But when the Bluecoats began to hawk them on the back streets, arrest them upon state charges for carrying concealed weapons, because they did round up some weapons. They had to. It became plain that the policemen were not interested in quelling the mob. When one was seen in a crowd, he made no effort to use his club or his gun to rescue a prisoner. One of the newspapers confesses that on Peachtree Street, in the heart of the city where the mob gathered, Only one policeman could be seen. And of course, he could do nothing with such a mob. What were the conservative good white people? That is not a question anyone would ask when he knows that 10 of the leading white pulpits in Atlanta are vacant because the pastors of moral courage have either been driven away or will not come to stifle their conscience in such a service. No, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that. And all they saying is, will you come and talk to the people? Tell white America that this is wrong. This must stop. Let the law handle any crimes that's being committed. No, we're not going to do that. We cannot do that. That's basically what it's saying. Yeah, they didn't come and do it. And the other pastors that did feel like that, they ran them out of town. Wasn't nobody there to do that. They wanted to do it because they ran them away. Probably told them they're going to kill them too. So wasn't nobody there for Black America. On Sunday morning, only one pastor stood up positively for law and order, according to statements published in the Atlanta Constitution. And that one was a Catholic bishop. All the others said it was what you might expect. No, that's the way things have been, and that's the way things gonna remain. That's what everybody else said. So he was the only one. Prosperity. What will be the outcome of all this? That is more a question for the white people north and south than it is for Negroes. Hell, we didn't create none of this. Ask them. They the one planned it. They the one got this whole shebang going. That is more a question for the white people, white America. And still today, that is a question for white America, because Black America got to go. We is not going to sit here and try to answer it, try to find no answers, try to look for resolutions, try to reconcile. It is certainly not going to make the lawless element of white people, who are very much in the majority in Georgia, disposed to hate the Negro less when he beats them in competition, as in the case of the barbers. It certainly is not going to frighten the Negroes, who are actually bad, and it certainly is not going to make the great majority of Negroes, who are honest, law-abiding folks, assume the responsibility of chasing down every one of their number who is merely accused by some malicious, frightened white woman, any more than a report of theft is going to make the honest bankers of New York close their doors to hunt down absconding cashiers because they happen to be of the same race. All that Christian piety, P-I-E-T-Y, in humble homes, all that honest labor and forbearance, and all that teaching and preaching, all that can do has been done. We done did all of that by the better element of Negroes to help their fellows. We done did all of that. Our best, our greatest people, bravest, the greatest and the bravest, most courageous, selfless. They didn't worry about losing their life. They didn't worry about not being here. They probably told their wives and families, I may not come back from this war. I probably won't come back from this war. But you know, always remember, never forget, I'm fighting this war so we can get free. So our babies and grandbabies can get free, won't have to go through chains, live in chains, and be told what to do, and whipped, and raped, and slaughtered. I know, right? It's got to be done. We don't know. He didn't ask for none of this. But, yeah, let's read. All that Christian piety in humble homes, all that honest labor and forbearance, and all that teaching and preaching can do has been done by the better element of Negroes to help their fellows. And if the whitened people of the South are going to expect Negroes to cooperate in catching Negroes accused of crime or actual criminals, when experience proves every day that such persons have no hope in the world of a fair trial, then the white people are doomed to disappointment. They actually thought that black people, you come out here and you help us hunt for these black people, this criminal. Some of them they did make do that. So did. They had gave him something to go look for the Negro, and they were behind him with a gun on him. If you go look for him, you better find him. I can just imagine trying to pretend like you didn't see him run that way. That was what our ancestors went through. The race war in the North. Lincoln freed you. We'll show you where you belong, was one of the cries with which the Springfield mob set about to drive the Negroes from town. Oh, the mob in Springfield said, Lincoln freed you, but we'll show you where you belong. And they were trying to drive the Negroes out of town. Springfield, Illinois. The mob was composed of several thousand of Springfield's white citizens, while other thousands, including many women with children, and even prosperous businessmen in automobiles, calmly looked on, and the rioters proceeded hour after hour, and on 2 days in succession, to make deadly assaults on every Negro they could lay their hands on, to sack and plunder their houses and stores, and to burn and murder on favorable occasion. Oh, if somebody just like, oh, we're going to burn this one when we catch him. I got a mind to lynch me, and I got a mind to dismember me. Then that's what they did. Whoever suggested, whatever. Then a lot of times, all right, we're going to make this a special one. That's their culture. That's the only culture white America got. Where the other culture at? They didn't make John Brown having empathy and love for another man, another human. They didn't make that their culture. No, they made this their culture. But now they want to forget about this because they done stole your culture, Black America. Shit, it ain't that hard to see. It ain't that difficult. After all this time, we ain't even read a handful of books yet. But we can see what it's looking like. Men, women, and children, they coming up in their business cars. And they calmly looked on, and the rioters proceeded hour after hour and on 2 days in succession to make deadly assaults on every Negro they could lay their hands on, to sack and plunder their houses and stores, and to burn and murder on favorable occasions, like it's just nothing, just another day. Business as usual, I guess. The American people have been fairly well informed by their newspapers of the action of the mob. See, the newspapers always kept white America in the loop. They always let white America know. It don't matter where they was at, what state they was at. Mainstream media, white media, took it upon themselves to always keep white America in the loop. That's why I do sometimes turn on white media to see what they ass talking about. Let me see what you telling white folks to keep on the lookout for. The American people, okay, I already read that. We already know. White media is keeping them in the loop. They have also been told The American people have also been told of certain alleged political and criminal conditions in Springfield, and of the two crimes in particular, which are offered by the mob itself as sufficient explanation why 6,000 peaceful and innocent Negroes should be driven by the fear of their lives from a town where some of them have lived honorably for 500 years. Why? Why should 6,000 peaceful and innocent Negroes that's been living there, everybody know everybody. They done seen these folks grow up from babies. Seen them become parents. Yeah, I knew your mama's mama. I knew your mama's mama, but it wasn't like that, see? Because white folks could never be civil to black people. We have been assured by more cautious and indirect defenders of Springfield's populace that there was an exceptionally criminal element among the Negroes encouraged by the bosses of both political parties. We have been assured by the more cautious and indirect defenders of Springfield's populace that there was an exceptionally criminal element among the Negroes encouraged by the bosses of both political parties. Lies. And now, after a few days of discussion, we are satisfied with these explanations and demand only the punishment of those who took the most active part in the destruction of life and property. Assuming that there were exceptionally provocative causes for a complaint against the Negroes, we have closed our eyes to the whole awful and menacing truth that a large number of the white population of Lincoln's home, supported largely by the farmers and miners of the neighboring towns, have initiated a permanent warfare with the Negro race. Permanent. That means forever. It ain't going nowhere. They ain't getting rid of it. We just gonna hide it so everybody don't see it. You know, we're not gonna drag the bodies behind the trucks no more. We just gonna get them in private in these jails and prisons, and we gonna ride them. We do not need to be informed at great length of the character of this warfare. It is in all respects like that of the South, on which it is modeled. It's the same thing. Ain't nothing changed. We know how they do. That's how they do. Its significance is threefold. First, that it has occurred in an important and historical northern town. Then, that the Negroes, constituting scarcely more than a tenth of the population, wasn't even that many, in this case, could not possibly endanger the supremacy of the whites. It wasn't even that many there, and they probably was docile, respectful. They probably crossed the street when they see a white woman coming. What was the threat? Just evil. And finally, that the public opinion of the North, notwithstanding the fanatical, blind, and almost insane hatred of the Negro, so clearly shown by the mob, you could just see them fainting, is satisfied that there were mitigating circumstances, not for the mob violence, which it is agreed should be punished to the full extent of the law, but for the race hatred, which is really the cause of it all. If these outrages had happened 30 years ago, when the memories of Lincoln, Garrison, and Wendell Phillips were still fresh, what would have happened in the North? Is there any doubt that the whole country would have been aflame? That all flimsy explanations and mitigating circumstances would have been thrown aside, and that the people of Springfield would have had to prove to the nation while they proposed to drive the Negroes out, to hold a whole race responsible for a handful of crimes, and to force it to inferior place on the social scale. For the underlying motive of the mob and that of the large portion of Springfield's population, white folks, that has long said that something was bound to happen, and by now approves of the right to complete its purpose by using other means to drive as many as possible of the remaining 2/3 of Negroes out of town. They got to get rid of the rest of them now. Was confessedly to teach the Negroes their place and to warn them that too many could not obtain shelter, not under the favorable traditions of Lincoln's hometown. Now, a few of you can come, but now you're not finna run shot up in here and take over. And that's all we see is you, because we hate to see you coming and we hate to see you go. So no, they weren't having all of that. I talked to many of them the day after the massacre and found no difference of opinion on the question why the niggers came to think they were as good as we are, was the final justification offered. Not one time, but a dozen times. That's what white folks were saying. That's why they justified it. Because the Negroes were feeling like they were better than us. So hell, they had to put you back in your place. Springfield had no shame. She stood for the action of the mob. That's whose side she was on. Everybody in Springfield, the whole white population. That's whose side they was on. They was on the action of the mob. She hoped the rest of the Negroes might flee too. She threatened that the movement to drive them out would continue. I do not speak of the leading citizens, but of the masses of the people, of working men in the shops, the storekeepers in the stores, the drivers, the men on the street, the wounded in the hospitals, and even the notorious Joan of Arc of the mob, Katie Howard, who had just been released from arrest on $4,000 bail. She has since committed suicide, that's what the editor said. The Illinois Street Journal of Springfield expressed the prevailing feeling, even on its editorial page. And this is what it said. While all good citizens deplore the consequences of this outburst of the mob spirit, many even of these consider the outburst was inevitable. At the same time, from existing conditions, needing only an overt act, such as that of Thursday night, to bring it from latent existence into active operation. The implication is clear that conditions, not the populace, not the people, the population, the conditions. It was the conditions that was to blame. And that many good citizens, good white people, could find no other remedy than that applied by the mob. That was the only solution what the mob had to do. It was not the fact of the whites' hatred toward the Negroes, but of the Negroes' own misconduct, general inferiority, or unfitness for free institutions that was at fault. That was the blame. That's what the newspaper put. Yep. Just excused the whole thing. Yeah, it's written so tidy and legalized and valid like you wouldn't even think they were talking about the mob of innocent bodies, just the desecration and the destruction. Just excuse like, oh, you dropped your soda. Well, when you get that mess up. That's how they do. That's their culture. It ain't changed, Black America. It ain't changed. I don't care how we dress it up, make it look. We so friendly. We've been best friends since we was in the first grade until somebody say sick 'em. On Sunday, August the 16th, the day after the second lynching, a leading white minister, recommended the Southern disenfranchisement scheme as a remedy for Negro lawlessness. While all four ministers who were quoted in the press proposed swift justice for the Negroes rather than recommending true Christianity, democracy, and brotherhood to the whites. Even the governor's statement of the situation, strong as it was on the whole, was tainted in one place with a concession to Springfield opinion. He said that Burton, the first Negro lynched, was killed after he had incensed the crowd by firing into the crowd to protect his home from incendiaries. But when Burton's home was attacked, there had already been considerable shooting between the blacks and the whites. Moreover, according to his daughters, men had entered the house and threatened him with an axe and other weapons. While his firing of buckshot at random into the mob is by no means necessarily a murderous procedure, it was self-defense. The governor made then an understatement of the character of the mob, suggesting that the Negroes had lost their heads and were accepting the mob's challenge to war. It is probable that Burton was defending not his home, but his life. This is a black man. He knew his life was in danger. They could have left the house. Black people fled all the time, left everything, but they bust in. Probably the front door, the back door, bust through the windows. You know they was outside surrounding the house. What else could he do? But they lynched him for that. They lynched him. It was self-defense, but they lynched him. Besides suggestions in high places of the Negro's brutality, criminality, and unfitness for the ballot, we heard in lower ranks all the opinions that pervade the South, that the Negro does not need much education, that his present education, even that, has been a mistake, that whites cannot live in the same community with Negroes except where the latter have been taught their inferiority, that lynching is the only way to teach them, etc., etc. They can stand pain, shit like that. That's the only way you can live around them. That's the only way white folks will comfortably let you live around them, is if you know of that inferiority and you accepted it, and that's how you live. Then they didn't fear nothing. They didn't feel threatened, I guess. In fact, this went so far that we were led to suspect the existence of a Southern element in the town. And this is indeed the case. Many of the older citizens are from Kentucky or the southern part of Illinois. Moreover, many of the street railway employees are from the South. It was a street railway man's wife that was assaulted the night before the riots. And there were street railway employees, among others, that led the mob to the jail. Even the famous Kate Howard had received her inspiration, she told us, from the South. Yep. See, while traveling with her brother in Texas and Arkansas, she had observed enviously that enforced separation of the races in cars and public places helped to teach the Negro where he belonged. Returning home, she had noticed a growing boycott of Negroes in Springfield stores, restaurants, participated in the alarm that no white woman was safe, etc., and in the demand for Negro blood. A woman of evident physical courage, she held that it was time for the population to act up to their professions. And by the cry of cowards, is said to have goaded the mob into some of the worst of its deeds. She exhibited to us proudly the buckshot wounds in her fleshy arms, probably Burton's, and said she relied confidently on her fellow citizens to keep her from punishment. This was the feeling also on the half This was the feeling also of the 100 whites in the hospital. It was, in fact, only 3 days after the first disturbance when they fully realized that the lenient public opinion of Springfield was not the public opinion of Illinois or the North, that the rioters began to tremble. Now they began to worry. Still, this did not prevent them later from insulting the militia, repeatedly firing at their outposts, and almost openly organizing a political and business boycott to drive the remaining Negroes out. They still had to say the rest of the niggas got to go. The rest of them got to go. See, then they in more control. They got everything then. It's always about control. You can't stay here. You're not welcome here. And if they didn't leave, they probably kill them. Maim them. Yeah, that's how it is all over the world. Negro employers continue to receive threatening letters and are dismissing employees every day, while the stores, even the groceries, so fear to sell the Negroes' goods that the state has been compelled to intervene and purchase $10,000 worth in their behalf. Yep, and that was the Negro employers dismissing employees because they were just scared to sell to Negroes. Yep, so they had to do something. The menace is that if this thing continues, it will offer automatic rewards to the righteous elements and Negro haters in Springfield. It'll make the reign of terror permanent there, and it'll offer every temptation to similar white elements in other towns to imitate Springfield's example. See, it's just like the green light. If the new political league succeeds in permanently driving every Negro from office, if the white laborers get the Negro laborers jobs, if masters of Negro servants are able to keep them under the discipline of terror, as I saw them doing in Springfield, if white shopkeepers and saloon keepers get their colored rivals trade, if the farmers of neighboring towns establish permanently their right to drive poor people out of their community, instead of offering them reasonable alms, if white miners can force their Negro fellow workers out and get their positions by closing the mines, then every community indulging in an outburst of race hatred will be assured of a great and certain financial reward. And all the lies, ignorance, and brutality on which race hatred is based will be spread over the land. It's like a reward. It's like an honor. It's like a badge. And everybody got one. Everybody want one. All you got to do is just help hold them down. Now you run over him. Hold him down while we run over him. That's all they had to do. For the actions of these dozen farming and 4 coal mining communities near Springfield shows how rapidly the thing can spread. I mean, it was like wildfire. It was like wildfire. In the little town of Buffalo, 15 miles away, for instance, they have just posted this sign in front of the interurban station. And it said, "All niggas are warned out of town by Monday, 12 p.m. sharp. Buffalo sharpshooters." That's it. Yep. 12 words, 12, 13 words. That's it, and that's all. Ain't no questions asked. Don't want to know how long you've been here, what your job is, who you know. You were my mama's slave. It don't matter. Ain't no talking. Your ass got to be gone. And that's 12 midnight, 12 M sharp, 12 midnight sharp. Yep. Part of the Springfield press far from discouraging this new effort to drive the Negroes out, a far more serious attack on our colored brothers than the mob violence either fails to condemn it in the only possible way, a complete denial of the whole hypocritical case against the Negro, or indirectly approve it. And that was the Springfield Press, where they all racist. An evening paper printed this on the third day of the outbreak. And this is what it said. Oh, they got it. There. And this is what it said. Negro family leaves city when ordered. The first Negro family routed from Springfield by a mob was the Harvey family, residing at 1144 North 7th Street, who were told Sunday morning to hike and carried out the orders yesterday afternoon. They proud of it. The family proved themselves obnoxious in many ways. They were the one Negro family in the block, and their presence was distasteful to all other citizens in the vicinity. They were proud of it. Yes, honey. The Harvey family from Springfield, Illinois. The tone of this notice is that of a jubilant threat. Like, you know how when it's finna be a murder or something in the movie, and then it's got that daunting music that let you know something finna happen. Close your eyes until it's over with. Yeah, that's how the thing read in the newspaper. Like it was a jubilant threat. As the family left town only the day after, not on account of the mob, but the standing menace, the use of the word first is significant. We have not mentioned the Negro crimes which are alleged to have caused the disorders, as we are of the opinion that they could scarcely, in any case, have had much real connection either with the mob violence or the far more important race conflict that is still spreading geographically and growing intensely from day to day. The first crime is called a murder, resulting from an assault on a woman. An unknown Negro was discovered at night in the room of two young white girls. The father and mother and two sons were also at home. However, and there's every probability that it is no assault but a common burglary. The father attacked the Negro, was terribly cut up, and died. A few hours later, a Negro was found sleeping not very far away, and the press claimed that there was every evidence that he was the criminal. However, Judge Creighton, a man respected by the whole community, saw cause to postpone the case, and it was this short delay of 6 weeks that was used by the enemies of the Negro in Springfield to suggest that the Negro's political influence was thwarting the swift justice of the law. So see, because the law stopped convicting and hanging black men. Because remember, the law had been telling them in Kentucky, we gotta do this by law. We can't just convict them and hang them. But that's what white America wanted. And that's what white America still wants. You know. So white America was beginning to feel like black people in political positions, they were beginning to thwart the swift justice that they needed. They needed to see a black man hung right now. You know, lynched right now. And then they could get his body and do whatever they're going to do with it and stuff. So yeah, they was pissed about that. The state journal, that's probably why they really didn't want us to vote. The State Journal, ignoring the common sense of the situation, stated editorially that Ballard, the victim, had given his life in defense of his child. And another significantly, this tragedy was not enacted in the Black Belt of Mississippi or of Georgia. And further, 12 lines below, it said, concerning him, the Negro, and the questions which arise from his presence in the community, it is well to preserve silence at the present time. The state of the public mind is such that comment can only add fuel to the feeling that has burst forth with general knowledge of the crime. The writer has been rather cautious, but has he not succeeded in suggesting clearly enough to readers of the character we have mentioned? One, that the deed was to be connected in some way with the race question. Two, that the public mind as it was and events have since shown the world clearly that the writer must have known at that time was justified. And three, in directing their attention to the South as a basis of comparison. Then what of the second crime, which occurred 6 weeks later? Early in the morning of August the 15th. Let's see. This was an assault by a Negro on a white woman in her home. There's little doubt of the nature of the crime intended, but in this case, there was far more doubt of the identity of the Negro arrested for the crime, who was of a relatively good character. However, the victim's poetry was printed and circulated among the crowd, first as an incentive to lynch the suspected Negro, then as a pretext for driving the Negroes out. I don't know, I kind of feel like, white America went from, we're going to lynch this one man right here, but they got so worked up. And they couldn't contain themselves. And from that one lynching, they just lost it. And then they just began running around, biting, eating, killing, stabbing, all the black people. And at that point, it just became such a rage that everybody go, get out. It just escalated to that because the clownimal instinct, it was just unleashed. And so I think that's what happened a lot of the times. They couldn't keep a leash on it. And I really believe today they losing that leash too. They unraveling. So Black America, you use discernment. As we do not lay much emphasis on these or the previous crimes of Springfield Negroes, which were in no way in excess of those of the corresponding social elements of the white population. So we do not lay much stress on the frenzied, morbid violence of the mob. Mob psychology is the same everywhere. It can begin on a little thing. But Springfield has many mobs. They lasted 2 days, and they initiated a state of affairs far worse than any of the immediate effects of their violence. Either the spirit of the abolitionists of Lincoln and Lovejoy, Elijah Lovejoy, either the spirit of the abolitionists of Lincoln and of Lovejoy must be revived, and we must come to treat the Negro on a plane of absolute political and social equality, or Vardaman and Tillman will soon have transferred the race war to the North. Already, Vardaman boasts that such sad experiences as Springfield is undergoing will doubtless cause the people of the North to look with more toleration upon the methods employed by the Southern people. The day these methods become general in the North, every hope of political democracy will be dead. Other weaker races and classes will be persecuted in the North, as in the South. Public education will undergo an eclipse, and American civilization will await either a rapid degeneration or another profounder and more revolutionary civil war, which shall obliterate not only the remains of slavery, but all the other obstacles to a free democratic evolution that have grown up in its wake. Yet, who realizes the seriousness of the situation? And what large and powerful body of citizens is ready to come to their aid? Who aid? Who coming to Black America's aid? Who is coming to Black America's aid? All right, this is the so-called race riot at Springfield, Illinois. No mob or mob violence can disturb a community unless there exists behind the immediate cause of the outbreak a wrong state of affairs. Vicious conditions as complex as society itself, of which it is the inevitable outcome. The conditions which led up to the rioting in Springfield grew out of bad politics. The seeds of mob violence were sown, not when the first Negroes came to Springfield, but when municipal rottenness fertilized the lower strata of society. The municipal rottenness fertilized the lower strata of society. Now, what that mean? Now, what does that mean? Because white folks wasn't upset when Black folks were there. But when the municipal people, they must have hired Black people, gave them some jobs. When they fertilized the lower strata, we know Black people was the lower strata. Ain't nobody else below Black people. Black people at the bottom, everybody else at the top. So it's got to be talking about Black people. Let's read. The buying and selling of votes in Springfield began about 20 years ago when the infamous Indiana blocks of five system of delivery of votes was introduced into this community. So that was a system they used, the blocks of five. About the same time, the gamblers' ring began to dominate municipal affairs. This it did by securing, previous to an election, pledges of immunity from the candidates of both parties, if possible. If a candidate failed to give such a pledge, its money and energy were used to defeat him. The Negro vote is large enough to be of importance in the elections, and the Negro vote can be bought. While money is a consideration, the real prize is immunity for the notorious lawbreakers who are understood to be in a position to deliver the votes. This failure on the part of officials to enforce the law, either for political preference or for graft, has fostered for years a lawless class among both Negroes and whites until it violated every law with impunity. The mob, which almost took possession of Springfield and came very near burning the whole city, was made up of almost entirely of flagrant lawbreakers. Everybody was criminals. Every damn body was criminals. The vile criminal whose punishment served as a pretext for the riot was but little, if any, worse than the men who made up the mob. That murder, arson, and loot, and not outraged justice, prompted them with that murder, arson, and loot, and not outraged justice, prompted them was evident to any observer. It says that murder, arson, and loot, and not outraged justice, prompted them was evident to any observer and was proven by the fact that stolen property was found in the possession of nearly everyone indicted. I was an eyewitness of the affair and have gained many facts from conversation with the governor, the sheriff, and the firemen who fought the flames while shots were being fired about them. And I am positive that the mob proper numbered at no time more than 400 lawless men and women. And I am positive that the mob proper numbered at no time more than 400 lawless men and women. No more than 400. But 400, the crowd at one time numbering 10,000 people, was composed of mere onlookers attracted by curiosity. A determined show of authority on the part of the police at the beginning would have prevented the whole trouble. 15 men who meant business could have handled the situation. They didn't want to. See, a few weeks before the riot, the city was aroused by the murder of a Mr. Ballard, a thoroughly reputable citizen, by a Negro named James, who had been discovered by Mr. Ballard's 19-year-old daughter in her room in the night. Ballard grappled with the Negro and was stabbed to death with a knife. The Negro was discovered later by a searching party, stupefied with drink and asleep on the ground. The men who found him kicked and beat him, but no attempt was made to lynch him. He was confined in the jail awaiting trial, probably because he was drunk. They wanted him sober. On August the 13th, Mrs. Hatlett, the young wife of a streetcar conductor, alleged that she was attacked while in her home, in bed, dragged into the yard, and outraged. She accused George Richardson, a Negro who had been working on a house near her home. The Negro was taken into custody by the sheriff about noon. At 2 o'clock, he was identified by Mrs. Hatlett. Before the sheriff was satisfied with the identification, he was compelled to take the Negro to the jail because of threats of violence to his prisoner. The mob began to assemble about the jail. And at 4 o'clock, the mob numbered about 3,000 people. At 5 o'clock, after an alarm of fire was turned in, the two Negroes, James and Richardson, in view of part of the crowd, some of the crowd could see them, they were placed in an automobile owned and driven by Mr. Loper, who had frequently done automobile service for the sheriff or his deputy. And they were taken a few miles north of the city, where a train was flagged down, and this carried to Bloomington, like 60 miles north. A large number of people in the crowd, not believing the Negroes had been taken away, although some of them seen them, but not all of them. It was like 3,000 people. Maybe 30 to 70 of them seen them. But the bulk of the people over here didn't see them. So, they didn't believe it. So a large number of persons in the crowd, not believing the Negroes had been taken away, demanded to go through the jail. They probably let us through here to look, or we finna set this whole motherfucker on fire. We finna destroy everything. So the sheriff had to let them go through. The sheriff permitted them to select a committee of 3, just 3, but they wanted 7. Though they wanted 7, who about 7 o'clock went through the jail. The mob was still unsatisfied, and a half hour later, 3 others was allowed to make the search, the same search. Those outside were still not satisfied, but the sheriff told them emphatically that he would not permit any more foolishness, and he began clearing the streets around the jail. The members of Company C and Troop, DING, who had begun assembling at the jail about 6:30 p.m., assisted the sheriff in dispersing the mob, firing 2 volleys over the head of the crowd to just, disperse them. The officers and soldiers were stoned by the rioters. All 100 of the rioters went off. Yes, they weren't going nowhere. Some of the crowd, among them the woman, Mrs. Kate Howard, who was later arrested, indicted for murder for participation in the lynching of Scott Burton, and who committed suicide on the way to jail, started to cry. To Lopers. Lopers being a restaurant owned by the man who had taken the Negroes away in his automobile. Yeah, she was crying. Crocodile tears. About 8 o'clock, the mob reached Loper's restaurant. The obnoxious automobile was standing in front. The rioters demanded of Mrs. Loper that he tell Mr. Loper that he tell them where the Negroes were. This he refused to do, in spite of their threats. Then they broke in the front of the building with bricks and stones, upturned the automobile and set it on fire, and looted the place. The basement was used as a salon, and they drank the liquors, all of them. I saw one group carrying off a tub of bottles of champagne. All of them were drinking from the bottles. The money was stolen from the cash register, and even the silver and table linen was carried off. They stole everything. Many of those arrested being found with the loot still in their possession. It took about 3 hours to wreck Loper's place. From there, the now drunken mob went to East Washington Street, the levee, where they demolished it and looted the Negro saloons and stores. One pawn shop was looted on the pretext, purely fabricated, made a lie out of thin air, that the owner had furnished firearms to Negroes. That's why they did. And here, a number of revolvers were secured by the rioters, who then went to the Badlands and began burning the houses of the niggers. All the houses occupied by the Negroes were burned from 9th eastward to 12th Street, where Burton was hanged from a tree. After being shot, he having fired 3 shots at the mob from his door. He got 3 shots off. I wish he'd have killed all 3 of them, at least 3 of them. It was here that the first troops to arrive, encountered the mob. After warning the rioters and firing 2 volleys in the air, they fired low, and the rioting immediately ceased. The personnel of the mob changed materially in its course from the time it left the jail until the troops dispersed it. At the jail, the mob was made up of determined men, bent upon lynching the Negroes. The rioters at Loper's were largely very large men, young, lawless, and bent on any kind of mischief. They do whatever. Just savages. And a gang of thieves and anarchists. Later, on the levee, still more of the worst class joined them, and then all of them, drunk with liquor from the wrecked saloons, were ready for murder and arson. One of the leaders carried a red flag. By the time the troops arrived on the scene, the better element had already entirely disappeared from the ranks of the mob. Enough cannot be said in praise of Governor Deneen and his firm and efficient handling of the situation. He was in his office at the State House all night, directing the movements. As soon as the troops arrived, he ordered that the refugees should be quartered in the state arsenal, located across the street from the State House, and also opened up Camp Lincoln for their protection. The police force of the city was flagrantly unequal to its task of restoring order. Some of the policemen were even criminally indifferent. 4 in uniform were stationed in front of Loper's restaurant, while the mob was slowly breaking in the glass front by throwing bricks and sticks. The policemen stood in the front rank of the mob, calmly watching the destruction, with no more attempt at interference than there would have been if the destruction had been ordered by their chief. Yeah, they just watching them, just looking at them commit crimes. You'd have thought it was something that was ordered to do, that if they were ordered to do it, then they would be watching their own people do it, just looking. And that's what they did. You just like, we wish we could throw them with you, The flying bricks and stones kept a space cleared in front of the restaurant. I saw one young man jostle a policeman, step out into the clear space directly in front of him, hurl a brick through the plate glass, turn about as the mob cheered, look the policeman squarely in the face, and swagger back into the mob. The policeman seemingly to say by his manner, "That was well done." A dozen determined policemen could have stopped the rioting in front of Lopers. Probably not without some bruises, but wounds would be glorious compared with the ignominy, ignominy, ignominy of being indicted for cowardice and neglect of duty, as four of them were, and denounced as they all were by the grand jury in its special report. Yeah, so even though they didn't want to do nothing, to stop the mob and stuff, they did have the thought, well, it would look pretty nice if we had some bruises and, some lumps and bumps to show that we did try to intervene, But I digress. A dozen determined policemen could have stopped the rioting in front of Lopers. Probably not without some bruises, but wounds would be glorious compared to the ignominy of being indicted for cowardice and neglect of duty, as four of them were, and denounced as they were all by the grand jury in a special report. It was an honor. It was an honor for them to just do this, to be this way. The culture, it's their culture. The conviction of the policemen would do more to atone for the great outrage against this community than the conviction of the rioters. See, you can't do nothing to the rioters. You can't do nothing to the rioters. That's what they do. That's what they're going to do. Let them do it. Now, anybody else, you can charge them. You can convict them. You can blame them. But the rioters, you leave the rioters alone. You let them be. That's how it was. And, everybody knew it. Everybody was in agreement. The killing of the Negro, Donegan, was a cold-blooded murder perpetrated by a handful of young desperados on a flimsy pretext that he had a white wife and that he refused to sell his property or move away from the neighborhood of white people. The act was in no way representative of any but the worst criminal class, who, emboldened by the acts of defiance of the mob, determined to satisfy a lust for murder. A lust for murder. Who lusts murder? Who lusts the killing, the lynching, and dismembering of innocent bodies, innocent babies, women? You just see somebody walking, and some black person walking, and the racist people just go get the black body and just decimate the black body. Just craving, you crave the body that you see walking, just a stranger walking, a black person walking it, and white people just automatically just get the salivating, slobbing at the mouth, because it's a craving, a lust. And I ask you, Black America, do you think that lust ever go away? Just because you got a lollipop, and it's red, but that ain't really the red you want. No, it don't go away. It wait until the situation presents itself again. And then, see, it can come out and it can satisfy that lust. It can satisfy that craving, Black America. And then it can relax and chill out again for another 50, 60 years. Although it's got to eat underground, you know. On August the 31st, the community was horrified to learn that Mrs. Hallam had made affidavit that the Negro, George Richardson, was not the one who had assaulted her. Here's what follows the arrest of this young man, George Richardson. 2 Negroes killed by mob, 5 white men killed by rioters. 1 woman ended her life following her indictment for murder. 1 Negro child died of exposure when parents were fleeing from the city. Prosperity. 100 persons were more or less seriously injured, many of them maimed for life. Property estimated at $120,000 destroyed. 40 Negro families rendered homeless through the burning of their residences. 15 business houses wrecked. 2,000 Black men, women, and children driven from the city. 4,000 militiamen brought to the city to reestablish order. Cost the state $200,000. The business paralyzed for a period of 10 days. 107 indictments returned by a special grand jury charging men and women with the various crimes of murder, arson, burglary, and larceny, rioting, and malicious mischief. Suits and claimants aggregating $120,000 filed against the city for damages resulting from deaths, personal injuries, and destruction of property. All that for the arrest of the wrong man. But they didn't mention nothing about the arrest of the wrong man. No, she just filed an affidavit that he wasn't the one that assaulted her, and they came up with all the other stuff, but he was just a life that was lost. She just cost him his life. Black lives don't matter. White folks don't care about Black lives. Only white lives matter. There are about 4,500 Negroes in Springfield with a total population of 60,000. The Negro of Springfield is not the Negro of the South. He is usually ready to open an argument that he is just as good as a white man. Whether he is or not matters little. A Jap would create just as much hatred and opposition if he should take this aggressive attitude. The politicians who have truckled for their votes have told the Negroes again and again that they are the white man's equal and have given them places on the police force and other city jobs. This with their arrogant bearing toward those of our people who resent their pretensions, their laziness, dishonesty, and vicious tendencies have created a strong feeling against them among our citizens and a mutual distrust and dislike unknown to the South. There's a saving element of the thrifty and law-abiding class who are respectable and respected, but the majority are worthless or genuinely bad and have brought the whole race under condemnation in the community. The city has been through a trial by fire and blood, brought to a sudden and solemn realization of these evil conditions and their results. If the good citizens are aroused and inspired to act wisely and firmly, the city will be purified, and a wiser, more better Springfield will result from this chastisement. If the good citizens, good white citizens, and we know that was not going to happen, because even the good white citizens feel like it's necessary, it's justified, it's the justification. That's the way things are. We got to let it ride. Let it be. Lynching. Lynchings by state and race. Table 1. Table 1 presents the number of lynchings that have occurred in the United States, 1882 to 1951. I wondered that my mama know people were still being lynched a year before she was born. Because my mama loved everybody. Every color in the rainbow. My mama loved everybody. You treat everybody the same. She cared for everybody. She helped everybody. But I don't think my mama knew of the extent of white America. I'm sure she didn't. Because I remember a story that my great-grandmother who raised my mother, they wouldn't let my mother go into town because of racism. So my mother started going into town and stuff when she was like 18 or 19 years old with our family and our cousins and stuff. And I remember the family used to say that one time she saw a racist situation and she lost it, that she didn't know how to handle it or something like that. Made my mama seem like she was just, a weak white woman. Oh, and fell out. Maybe she got mad. Maybe she got pissed off about it. But my family was like, at that point right there, it's best to keep Anna out of town. Don't take her to town. Don't let her go to town and stuff, But so for this right here, 1951, my mom was born in 1952. Oh, and then tonight, I was listening to some of our family. The shift that's happening, y'all. It's a shift happening. And it is so powerful. And everybody was on the live. I mean, it was like 5,000 of us on the live. Their chat was going so fast, y'all. It was so awesome. You could just feel the energy pulsating through everybody. But anyway, they were talking about, Dr. Phil Valentine was on there. Everybody was on there. Our brothers and a sister. And I got a confirmation from my mama. I got a confirmation from my mama that, okay, it's okay. Do what you're doing. Go on and do what you do. Yeah. I don't know how or who, gave her that turnaround. But I don't think before she passed, I don't think I had her blessing. And I wasn't even condemning white America. I wasn't like condemning white America like this. I was condemning the police brutality. We all condemn the police brutality and the isolated or individual sabotages against Black America. But this right here is the whole white America. This right here is not just one profession. This right here is not just the maiming and murdering from police. So see, tonight I was very, pleased and happy, and I'm okay, that she said it's all right, do it, because I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I don't have no other choice, to choose between my mama and between all of the ancestors. She would want me to choose our ancestors. My mama would want me to choose our ancestors. So yeah, when it came tonight, it was right on time. And you know how I know? Because I went and put on one of her dresses. That when she passed away, and I had gotten one of her dresses. I got a couple of them, I think. And I went and I put on one of her dresses. And that was it. A skirt. That was a confirmation, but I knew what it was. I knew what it was. So no, I can't stop. I cannot stop what was going on, because if she knew, she wouldn't have stopped. She still would have been civil to people, and she still would have helped the people. But she would have seen that everything is not what it looks like it is. because Christians themselves ain't even Christian-like with each other. We should know, look at the self-hatred we got on ourselves. We can't doubt how anyone would treat us. The way we get down on us, and we just got self-hate. Them other folks, they got some grudge hate. They got some, I don't know, some cannibalistic hate. Their hate ain't even part of humanity. It ain't even part of life. It's some otherworldly, surreal type of hate that they got for Black America. And the self-hate can be broken. We can break this self-hate. We are breaking this self-hate. That's why we are at the roots of what's wrong with us. That's the only reason why we're at the roots of what's wrong with us. Don't you think we need to be out discussing our solutions to all of these issues? We out. Black America is discussing our solutions. We have solutions for us. We have resources for us. But only Black America is going to tell us about it. And if we ain't healed, then most of the solutions and stuff, they're going to go unused. We're not going to be ready for them. We're not going to utilize them. Not to mention, hell, they ass might come along and take it. Oh, yeah, let us help you with this. We're just your allies, but yeah, we can get this and put it together and come up with that. No, we don't need no more help with nothing else. If we need some help from white America, we'll tell them, look at here. I'm going to draw up this reparations plan. I'm finna bring it over there to you. You sign it. Me and you finna go around to all your circle. And they finna sign it. And then I'm taking it, the document, and I'm finna go. And you can stay here and y'all commence to working on y'all. But that's the extent that we need to go with white America at this point. White America is not going to be comfortable sitting down reading this with us. It's not going to happen. We're going to have to do this by ourselves. Lynching. We getting ready to wrap it up. We ain't going to be all night tonight. We getting ready to wrap it up. Lynching by states and race. Oh, wow. Wait till we get to that page. Table 1 presents the number of lynchings that have occurred in the United States, 1882 to 1951, the year before my mom was born. For each state for Negroes and whites. Oh, we could see, how the states was lynching them and stuff. And white folks that was helping Black folks, they was lynched too. Because you couldn't be no nigger lover. You can't have it both ways. You either on white folks' side or Black folks' side. And if you on Black folks' side, then you get lynched too. They wouldn't drag the white person through the town like they would the Black person. But they would lynch the white person. They would save his body from all of that. Some type of mercy, right? Don't make sense to me. During this period, more than 2.5 times as many Negroes as whites were put to death by lynching. The state of Mississippi has the highest incident of lynching for the South, as well as the highest for the United States, with Georgia and Texas taking second and third places. And you remember we talked about Mississippi with the floods in 1912 and I think it was 1917, and Mississippi made Black men, when the levees broke, runaway slave I listened to him, and I annotated about it. That's why I remember a little bit. And the levees broke, and Black people built the levees, but the levees broke, and white people, they let white people leave and get to safety, but the Black people couldn't go nowhere. The Black people could not leave. What they did was they got their guns and they went to the Black people, and by gun force, come on, you come over here. We need you. You finna do this work. We need you. The work they needed the Black men to do, the levees had broke, and they ran out of sandbags. So they had the black men lay down. Lay down or we're going to shoot you dead. So a black man lay down, another black man lay on him, another black man lay on him. So they could be like sandbags and, block the water to save the crops and stuff. Now the black men that died, that were dead, that drowned, maybe they had to shoot them because they refused to lay down. But the black men that were dead, they cut them open, filled them with sand, and used their bodies as the sandbags on top of each other. That was in Mississippi. The Mississippi flood. Yeah, I just learned about it last week. Lynchings by year and race. Table 2 gives the number of lynchings of whites and Negroes yearly from 1882 to 1951. The largest number of lynchings occurred in 1892. Of the 230 persons lynched during that year, 161 were Negroes and 69 was white. But during 1884, the next highest year, with 211 lynchings, 161 was white and 51 was Negroes. Every year since 1882, at least one Negro has been lynched. Yeah, so that next year, with them 211 lynchings, 160 of them was white and 51 of them was Negroes. You know why? Because they were the abolitionists. They were probably the abolitionists. And they were in number because John Brown, he had other abolitionists with him when they went to Harper's Ferry. It wasn't just him and the black men. It was him and other white men. So all of those lynchings were probably other abolitionists and people that were against slavery. Yep, that's probably why it was so many of them. And they seen them as nigger lovers. Like they did. Causes of lynchings classified. Being charged with a crime does not necessarily mean that the person lynched was guilty of the crime. Mob victims have been known to be innocent of misdeeds. Sometimes mobs have been mistaken in the identity of their victims. Lynchings have occurred for such trivial matters as peeping in a window or disputing with a white man or attempting to qualify to vote. Like Medgar Evers. Medgar Evers was murdered because he was getting black people to vote. Took them forever. So they made a movie. It took them forever to get justice for him. Such causes are classified under all other causes. Homicides led all causes of lynchings. All causes of lynchings. They were homicides. Wasn't none of them no suicide. All of them lynchings was homicide. Wasn't not a one of them suicide. Couldn't nobody say that a black man had lynched himself. Because that wasn't what black people did. Lynchings prevented. Oh, let me look up some of the states. Let me look up Minnesota. White people were lynched. Five whites and 4 Negroes for 9 people. There was a total of 9. And this right here was from 1882 to 1951. Let's go with Kentucky. Kentucky lynched 63 whites and 142 Negroes for a total of 205 people between 1882 and 1951. Tennessee, 47 whites and 204 blacks, a total of 251 people. Texas, 141 whites, 352 blacks, for a total of 493 lynchings between 1882 and 1951. And that was the highest, Texas. Well, the highest of whites. The highest of blacks was Mississippi. 40 whites and 534 Negroes. Yeah, and then it said Georgia had the highest too. So Georgia was 39 whites and 491 Negroes for a total of 530 lynchings. And all in total, all white people from 1882 to 1951, all white people lynched came to 1,293 lynchings of white people. Of black people, 3,437 lynchings of black people. The total of all of them was 4,730 lynchings from 1882 to 1951. Lynchings prevented. The wide publicity given to lynchings has created sentiment against the practice to the extent that communities do not desire the criticism they receive when a lynching occurs within their borders. Now they don't want it. At first, it's like, oh, yeah, you had a lynching going on. Oh, yeah, we had a good lynching going on. But now it's like they don't want the criticism. They don't want the attention, And yeah, the criticism or the comments, just don't even talk about it, I guess. Officers of the law are condemned when they are suspected of making no attempts to prevent lynchings, when they are party to a lynching, or when they connive with those bent on lynching. However, throughout the history of lynching in the United States, some officers have outthought and outmaneuvered mobs now. The vigilance of law enforcement officials and the intelligent action of numbers of private citizens have kept many intended victims from being put to death. Were precautions not taken to save accused persons from mob law, such as augmenting guards, removing the prisoner to a place of safekeeping, using force to disperse the mob, or some other stratagem, the annual lynching record would contain more names than they are now listed. So if they hadn't taken them precautions, can you imagine the number of lynchings? It probably would be more than double. And this wasn't even a whole lot of maneuvers. It was only like, 3 or 4 different maneuvers that they had. What's the time? Yeah, we ain't going to be much longer, y'all. World War I and post-war boom and racial readjustment. Racial readjustment. And now, is that talking about like racial reconciliation? Because you know how I feel about that. Is that racial reconciliation like the same thing? What the pastor was talking about? Using the Bible? Is the Bible sufficient text for racial reconciliation? Like these books don't exist? Large-scale interracial violence became almost endemic in the United States towards the end of the First World War and during the months immediately following it. In extent and distribution of violence, the period can be compared only with that of the past 5 years. 2 of the more dramatic and costly disturbances occurred in East St. Louis in 1917 and again in Chicago in 1919, Chicago riot, Red Summer. There are selections in the chapter following from the former investigations of those disturbances, a select congressional committee investigation of East St. Louis, and a Blue Ribbon Committee report on race relations in Chicago. A Blue Ribbon Committee report. Although some recent scholars have begun to be critical of the Chicago Commission report, Waskall 1966, if you want the resource, it probably is still the best single case study. In 1917, Negro troops stationed in Houston, mutinied and actually seized arms and marched on the city. Schooler's article reviews the chronology of this unusual event and comments on the causes. Another unusual manifestation of racial violence, one with strong class overtones, occurred in Arkansas in 1919 when black tenant farmers assaulted whites in what some observers felt was an IWW-inspired insurrection. Now, that's the International Women Workers, something like that. Let's see. Two brief selections from the New York Times detail both the events and speculations about their cause. Other selections from the Times includes a fragment of the coverage of a lynching in Omaha that developed into a more general assault and editorial comment on the Chicago riot. Readers will observe that the Times itself has changed its perspective. In the final selection, I have examined in some detail the riots of East St. Louis, Chicago, and Tulsa, and have attempted to distinguish among Southern style, Northern style, and mixed type riots. Ain't that something? The North got a different way that they did their rioting. The South had a different style to do their rioting on black folk. And then you had the mixed type riots where they just using each other tactics. And the mixed type riots was with references to differences both in modes of assault and on the accommodative structure, ACCOMMODATIVE, accommodative, with references to differences both in modes of assault, how they did it, modes of assault on the accommodative structure, and in the actual chronologies of the several disturbances. I know, right? Yeah. We're gonna have to finish this. Right here is a whole chapter by itself. Well, at least we got that. Tomorrow we might read that page over, because we'll probably finish this little bit right here. Oh, and then there's the Houston race ride. Yeah, tomorrow we'll start here. Tomorrow night we'll start here, midnight with the ancestors. We getting there, y'all. We getting there. Just Black America, just keep your head up. Keep your eyes on the prize. Everybody else is. I mean, it's a shift going on out here. And I don't know. We just going to have to move with it. We're going to have to move with it, but keep your discernment with you. Because that's all we got. Remember your ancestors. Do your little due knowledge. Do yours. Due diligence. What is it? Yeah, due diligence. We all got to do it. There isn't a one of us, Black America, that are excused from the work. I know you got bonds, you got marriages, families, family ties. Ain't that what they came up with that little sitcom about themselves? Now look at you, trapped in with them family ties. But hey, maybe it ain't no trap. Maybe they'll tell you can talk about it. Maybe they welcome if you talk about it because you done got with them. But we, Black America, we don't have the opportunity. We can't afford to just ignore us continually. No, for the love of our future, for the love of our babies, we gonna have to do the work. Yeah, it ain't gonna hurt us to lose what's gonna hurt us to lose some friends? We supposed to got away from these people. We ain't supposed to still be up under white America. You're not supposed to be still up under white America. Y'all see the shift happening. We ain't never seen so many black. We out with our businesses. We ain't never seen so many black businesses just sprung up. Just like that right there. That's because it's a shift happening. We got to change with the times, even if we don't know it. Even if we don't know, damn, I don't know why I'm just in the house all the time lately. Why I ain't been clubbing. Why I ain't been drinking. Why I ain't been smoking. Why I've been isolating myself. I've been in for the past 6 months. Now I haven't really been going anywhere and doing anything. You know, now I'm not at home doing nothing. Pretty much the same old, same old. But that's because consciously we are being shown that it's time to take a step back. See, when we taking out of everything, then that means you taking out of everything so you can sit back and observe. You can go within. You can see what's really not resonating. You can find any little obstacle that's off, and you can devote your time and your attention to that. In Black America, for us, when these incidences happen and we find ourselves in hibernation or isolating ourselves, we don't be out too much. I just don't feel like being out. I don't feel like partying. I don't want to be in the middle of people and stuff. It's probably most likely because we are being prompted to learn about us. We're being prompted again to get on the path of Black America. Whose side are you on? But see, we got so many the tendrils going on, you know, and we can't really put it together what all that means. So we just sit at home day after day, week after week, month after month, maybe playing the game, maybe watching Netflix, you know, some old bullshit like that further costs us what the spirit guides is trying to show us, what our ancestors is trying to get us to remember, to at least reflect on it. Just a little thought. That's all it takes at first, is just a thought. And that thought grows if you give attention to it. See, but Black America, it's all about you, individually and collective. I know whose side I'm on. Don't nobody have to ask me. We can have a conversation. They gonna know whose side I'm on. In Black America, we all got to get to that point. We can't be on the sidelines and take a neutral stance. We can't take a neutral stance. We have to choose a side now. It used to be where, you know, 4 years, such and such chose the wing on the left, the political bird, that vulture that we need to crash. 4 years, such and such chose the Republic. The next 4 years, they chose the Democrats. You got to choose. And Black America need to get off. Black America must choose to get off this political bird. We can't keep being neutral about things that matter the most for us and our safety, our freedom. That's why we got to make the choice. We got to make the decision. And it's okay when people be like, oh, so that's what you on now. And you be calling your friends and stuff and want to hook up. No, I think I'm good and stuff, you know. And that's okay, because that's how it's supposed to be. Everybody not supposed to be in our life like that, because we have business of our ancestors that everybody not on their side. Even some of us not on our side. Some of us, look at some of our politicians out there. You better not go and tell that Clyburn man, the one Sister Vicky always talking about we want something. We always want something. You better not go tell that man that it's time for us to start learning about our ancestors now. And he got to get his ass up, and he got to do it too. No, because that ain't what they want. They're going to flat out tell you and me that this what they choose. This who they choose right here. Some of our own gonna tell us that. They done came up with their own Make America Great Again song. And this is what Make America Great Again stand for. So Black America, we got to be very careful. We got to be. And I just want to say shout out to the sister that was telling me about the Bible and stuff. How it said about the blonde, the silver hair and the feet of bronze and stuff, and that they done switched that around too. I believe it. I can believe it. That's why I got that picture of that black Jesus over there when I seen it. Because I kind of felt like, yeah, I better get this because I'm open for learning. I am open for learning. I'm not finna spend my next 40 years with these motherfuckers and letting them think, oh, it's okay, you done got away with it. Oh, it's all right, we still friends, we still homies. We've been together since 5th grade, since 1st grade, we've been best friends. Fuck all of that. What the hell did your family do to my family before we were born? What did they do? I remember, somebody remember in your family when we were like 3 years old and we were just little bitty babies and everybody came running in the house, screaming and crying, and my mama yanked me away from y'all white people and said, don't play with y'all no more and stuff. What the hell happened? But see, we don't never ask white America that. Some of the names that we done read when we were reading Red Summer, some of them names in there from right down there where we live at. We know them last names in these books. You know the last names in these books. You know exactly some of the families that they was talking about because I did. I was like, damn, I know some Fitzgeralds. But they done lynched Ike Fitzgerald. Yep. And the black people, all of a sudden the main street was on fire. 30 businesses burned up in my little hometown. 30 businesses burned up. It was like 1909. White people couldn't prove it, but they felt like black people set all of their main street on fire because they lynched Ike Fitzgerald, but they never could prove it. So nothing was never done about the fire. Of course, nothing was ever done about him being lynched. And then after that, everybody just settled down, and it was like, it was like a black eye for a life. It wasn't an eye for an eye. It was like a black eye for taking his life, for lynching him. So see, Black America, it's a whole truth. It's not a lie. Ain't none of this a lie. Just like ain't none of this a lie. It's not a lie. It's ours. Everybody else wants it to be a lie. Why didn't they do them like that? And then to pay everybody, even the white folks got paid. Slave owners got paid. Oh, Mr. Slave owners, we're going to pay y'all too because y'all lost y'all slaves. And we know that was how you were making your money and paying your bills and taking care of your family. So we got to pay you to make up for the loss. But Black Americans, freed slaves, descendants of slaves, got nothing. Still gets nothing. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody want. Ain't nobody on our ancestors' side. That's it. No one is on our ancestors' side but us. Yeah, it's gonna get real challenging now, Black America. Yeah, just keep your head up and just know that the shift is happening. It's for the betterment of us. It's time for us. Yeah, as long as we keep that at the foremost, we'll be all right. We will be all right. Learn to do things for yourself now. It's going to be hard. Learn to fast. We ain't got to eat all the time. We ain't got to eat morning, noon, and night. Again, we got to break this mindset. Thinking like white people, living like white people, breathing like white people, dressing like white people. Our whole existence is almost a clone of how white folks live. And we got to break it, Black America. It ain't helping us none. While we trying to look like them, they really being like us. They living the lifestyle of Black America. And it ain't just when they come outside and we see them with braids in their hair. Then got big old booties, big lips. Honey got hairstyles, talking like us, walking like Black people, dancing like Black people. Didn't I just tell you about the Oriental man went in the barbershop with his hair? When they were done with that man's hair, his hair was nappier than mine. So see, it's a lifestyle to them, just like this. And I bet you the only reason that even remotely satisfies that lust for Black bodies and Black blood is to, hey, let's just become them. We can't be savages. Now, we can't be these savages if in a few decades, and it's like in 100 years, if we want to say, hey, we Black. But we got work to do first before we get to that point, white America. So we got to clean it up a little bit. We got to practice. We got to practice everything so that we can seem like we are the true Black people. And see, it's going to fool a lot of folks. Especially if our babies grow up and they don't know a damn thing. It's going to fool them. Who they going to be calling Black people then? White. The few Blacks that'll be left, because the numbers done got so small, will they be calling them white folks at that point? And Black white folks will be calling themselves Black. See, the whole thing, we just got to think about it. We can critique it. We can comment. We can research. Copyright 107 of 1976 gives us the right. It makes it okay to do the work, to do the knowledge. I'm going to get permission too, because I want y'all to see. Now, this right here, I ain't trying to blame nobody or nothing, but I just want us to know, because it ain't no blame. It's only forgiveness for us, Black America. We need to understand that it's only forgiveness between us, acceptance. Okay? We know what was done. We know we were brainwashed to just let it be, try to get along, try to be better. And we sincerely did. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We sincerely did. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody should try to be better. What was wrong is because white America wasn't sincere with you. See, white America has never been sincere with you, Black America. That's the only part that's wrong. So let's not browbeat ourselves. Let's not feel bad about it. Let's not feel like, oh, I'm feeling more love and empathy, towards the Black baby. Because we Black. We're supposed to have the more love and empathy for ourselves. See, for our own. Ain't it self-preservation first? Ain't it self-preservation first before all? And see, Black America, we've been so brainwashed, we got it like second and third on the line. That's why we got to just forget about how white America feeling. Fuck how white America feeling. Fuck the dumb shit. Because this is our last chance. Yeah, this is our last chance. But anyway, this book right here, y'all, I want y'all to go order this book, A Vision of Personal Freedom. I was already on my own, seeking my own route. I didn't know how to come out. I didn't know how to harness my personal freedom. I didn't know how to grab my personal freedom so it'd be mine, because it always seemed like Mm. But anyway, I didn't know how to. I've been on my journey for a while. I suppose. Yeah. Somebody kicked me out of the bed a couple of years ago and said, "Get your ass up. We got some work for you to do. We got some work for you to do. Some reading for you to do." And so I've been doing it and stuff, but I couldn't figure out how to get here. How do I get here? Because it was always beyond my grasp. It was always slipping. I didn't know how to access my personal freedom, Black America, because I've been so engrossed in all these sabotages, all these agendas, and these veils over our eyes and our psyche by white America. White America. That's the first subconscious question I think we ask before we ask anything. How is white America gonna take this? How's this gonna look? How's this gonna be with white America? We pretty much know how Black people gonna take anything that we do, but white people get very uncomfortable, and we don't like it. We can't handle it. We don't know what they're gonna do, and this is why. This is why. So yeah, BoldenUnchained, we here. We here, and we ain't going nowhere. Black media needs everything. Black America can't handle no more. So yeah, we here to assist Black media. Black America is our first and final concern. The welfare, the well-being, and the sanity of Black America. That's it, and that's all right here. Now over there and over there, I don't know. You go over there and find out, because I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here where Black America and only Black America matters. Everybody else got they pillows with tufts in it. Here they got more than one pillow. Everybody is comfortable. Everybody is cozy. Matter of fact, they ain't even really got no business wandering, meandering in between here. But if they do, hey, we don't hurt and harm nobody. You know. But we know what this space is for. And that's what this space is going to be. It's going to remain this. This was ordained. This right here is causing the shift. Whose side you think cosmic energy on? Whose side do we think cosmic energy on? White people? Do we really think that, oh, white people, after all they done did to us and stuff, ain't nothing never happened to white people? Ain't nothing never happened to white people. All the evil shit they done did. And you can say that too. Because it do look like ain't nothing happened to their motherfucking ass. Like, damn, y'all ass is the one that said it. Don't steal, kill, destroy. You got to be good. You want to be productive and, law-abiding and, love your fellow being. The pursuit of happiness and safety and all that good stuff. And then turn around and like, wait a minute. The biggest damn hypocrite you ever ran into in your life is white America. Ask anybody, they'll tell you if they ain't scared. It's white America. It ain't us. It ain't me. It ain't my brother. The Black man ain't no savage. That's a damn lie. He might be weak. His ass might be weak right about now. Hell, everybody weak right about now dealing with white America. Yep, so let's just get us some rest, because you already know. Tomorrow at lunchtime, we'll see you. Peace and power to the people. Peace and power to the people. Yeah, well.